It's dragon time.
It's dragon time. Season 3, episode 7 of House of the Dragon. Oh my god, there's only one left.
Who doggy? It's
Doggy
the
dog.
penultimate one. And stuff happened.
Yeah, some stuff's going on.
Sunfyre returns. Zombie dragon is afoot.
There's also like a dragon tumble in the Riverlands. Is it the Riverlands? I think it's Riverlands. 4 dragons get all crazy wazy about it.
It's a big, nutty, 4-way lizard pylon.
Yeah, no one knows what's going on, and I think everyone loves it.
Alicent poisons her son Aemond.
It's really funny.
Rhaenyra has sex with mysaria.
Not so funny.
We see helaena on her dragon
No.
Dreamfire.
Yeah, that's a good joke.
We have been waiting to see that for 4 years.
Oh my god, I was so happy for you.
4 years. Ulf betrays Rhaenyra. There's an uncle incest love triangle with Baela
Hold
and
on.
Alyn and Addam.
It's a half uncle incest love
Yeah,
triangle.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a
But the
half-
triangle involves 2 half uncles,
And
which equals 1 uncle.
And you know, the thing is, when you cut a triangle in half, it's
still a
a
triangle.
triangle, yeah.
Yeah, take that, Pythagoras.
Sylvie calls mysaria out on her shit.
Yes. So I feel like this episode had a gosh darn honkin' tootin' lot of things happening.
It's so not the book, is it? We are like so far from the book.
No, this is so far from the book it might as well be on the moon.
Dragon time. Talk about the lizards. Breathe in fire in the sky.
Let's begin with Tapestry Watch.
We go through the tapestry.
Yeah.
Helena's shoving our heads through the bloody thing.
Whoa. Yeah, so we see, the history of the Targaryens and the history
Blah,
of the
blah,
war.
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah,
Jace
blah,
is
blah,
dead.
blah. And we like zoom in on what I think represents some like Team Black people,
Yeah.
soldiers,
Yeah.
who are dying. And then we flip through and then there are 2 Team Green soldiers who are dying.
Yeah, that's such a cool idea.
They're-
It's sort
yeah.
of like inviting you to think there are 2 different histories here that are being told.
Yeah.
Like one of them, this is the story of the Blacks. This is the story of Rhaenyra's rise to power. And the other one is, this is the story of the Greens. It's the story of Aegon striving for power.
Well, yeah, I mean, the tapestry does build up a larger picture, and we sometimes zoom out to see more. Like we now see more and more of the Rhaenyra Cyrax image and all the people next to her.
Yeah, I can't wait for, let's just imagine season 4 or maybe even the season 3 finale. We get a big shot of the whole thing.
So yeah, that's fun. And then we also get Kristen at the Butcher's Ball. So the death of Kristen Cole.
They turned him into a porcupine. Funniest thing I've ever seen.
So big day for House Blunt fans, I guess.
Because they appear in The Mad King.
That's true.
The Harrenhal play that we went to last week.
Yeah, we saw the new Game of Thrones play, The Mad King, and we made a first impressions video that you can watch now on Nebula.
Other crazy thing about Nebula is that Dragon Time is there.
Dragon Time is there, and it's full length.
It's full length, and it comes out day of the episode.
That's true.
Wild stuff.
Yeah, Nebula is a great way to support us.
And earlier, I heard someone saying there was a link in the description.
There is?
Yeah, and you can get like 50% off an annual subscription.
Yeah.
That's what the word on the streets is. Don't take my word for it.
I mean, don't go spreading that around or everyone will sign up.
Yeah.
Keep it on the DL. So is Kristen going to be okay?
Well, he shows up in this episode, so I think he's fine. That was Tapestry Watch.
Thanks for joining us for Tapestry Watch.
It's the Helaena Targaryen Variety Hour.
This is the helenaisode that we've been waiting for. It is thrilling because we've been shouting for 4 years for Helena's dragon and for Helena's visions. Like, we have heard about Helena's visions many times, but we've never seen any of Helena's visions until now. So we see her outside the Red Keep, and there's a sort of a gentle, ethereal, tender musical theme playing. I think it's a new musical theme, which is lovely. And she approaches a horse that she describes as a grey mare.
Yeah.
I think that what most people will think is that
That's a
the
pale
white
mare.
horse means death.
Yes, probably.
And that's something that Game of Thrones Season 8 did with Arya riding the white horse out of King's Landing.
When Arya herself was death, and then she inexplicably reappears inside King's Landing in the next episode. What was the point of any of that? Anyway, Helaena looks at the horse and smiles, though. Yeah, the horse is also freedom, right? It's a way out of the city. It's a way out of the cage she's been in her whole life.
Yeah. And the most like depressing interpretation, I think, is death as a way out.
Yeah.
So helaena looks at the horse, which might represent freedom, might represent death.
Maybe both.
And then she looks out this gate and there's like this steady, warm orange light. And at first I was like, is that like the fire of Dreamfire, her dragon? But it's not like flickery firelight. It's
No,
like a
it's
steady, continuous light.
Or the sun, perhaps.
Well, yeah, it could be like a sunrise or a sunset. But I think that it's the same orange light that we see later in helaena's idyllic vision of hanging out with her children in freedom and peace.
So it's sort of like the light of life.
Yeah.
The light of freedom.
So I think that right now helaena is choosing between life and death.
Hmm.
Because she's like very, very depressed right now and trapped and is like trying to think of alternative ways to be.
So in the previous episode, there's a long shot where helena's holding a horse toy. And like now clearly that's like this vision is what that was about.
Right.
And we were like, oh, is it Jaehaerys's toy? Is it the writers fucking with me specifically? No, it was an allusion to a future vision.
I think that the visions tell the story of what happens if helaena lives. Because she like sees the pale horse and then she sees the light.
And she chooses the light, right?
And so, yeah, if she chooses the light, she then sees herself giving birth to her child that she's currently carrying.
But that child gets handed off to a Kingsguard, Kristen Cole.
Hey everyone, that's not Kristen Cole. We both thought it was Kristen Cole, and it's not. We're going to talk for a while as though it is, it's not, but the ideas are still like pretty much correct. Like, yeah, you get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, does helaena know that Kristen is dead? Like maybe this is helena's like imagination of what happens.
I mean, helaena has prophetic dreams.
But she doesn't know everything.
That's true. Well, I think it's symbolic. I think Kristen is the night of death, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kristen represents a life in servitude that leads to pointless death.
Yeah.
That's what this child is being carried off to do.
And then we see helaena riding a dragon.
So she's like fleeing the city after giving birth to a child that gets carried off.
Well, I don't think she's fleeing. I think she's defending the city.
Okay. Right, this is what happens if you choose to stay and fight. It needs to be noted that in this final shot of the vision where she's with the chickens, she's with two of her children. She's with Jaehaerys and Jeyne. Jaehaerys is dead. So this is... It can't possibly be an alternate future from her current point in time, right?
Yeah, so it's an alternative future. Or just an imagined ideal.
Like what life could have been.
Yeah, but even in her perfect ideal vision...
The
still
result
leads
is still
to terrible
I die.
apocalypse.
Yeah.
She cannot imagine a happy, ideal future that doesn't end in horror.
She's played like this is what goes on in Daenys the Dreamer's head. It's what goes on in Rhaegar Targaryen's head.
Yeah, it's why all these Targaryens do crazy shit because they cannot see a happy future unless they do something crazy.
But it's fine though because helena's half sister Rhaenyra is here to yell at her about war.
Yeah, that'll definitely help. That's definitely what like helena's in the mood for.
It's so funny how she's like, I think you might be a dreamer. You might have the magical mystical powers that saved our family 400 years ago. Helaena, have you ever considered that you might be a little different? Have you thought about that, Helaena? Anyway, where's my husband? Fucking hell, Rhaenyra.
I really like how, Rhaenyra's like, what have you seen? And Helena's like, I saw a pale mare. And like to her, that has enormous significance. But Rhaenyra's like, oh yeah,
a horse.
Okay,
I've seen horses.
Horse.
What about my husband?
Great.
Yeah. Do you know where Ulf's going? What's happening at Tumbleton? Roderick Dustin? Do you know what's happening with my war?
And like, it is great and gratifying to see someone finally do the logical thing, which is going, oh, like maybe we can use magical insight for a practical purpose. Maybe we can be smart about this.
And it's also great that, of course, that doesn't work.
And I like how as soon as helena's like not super useful and doesn't have the knowledge she seeks, Rhaenyra like immediately snaps and has zero patience and like cuts to what she really wants, which is reassurance. Rhaenyra instantly says like, tell me that I'm okay.
Yeah, tell me that the gods are like cool with me.
Yeah, like it immediately becomes about, Rhaenyra wanting affirmation and confidence.
Yeah. Previously, I've talked about how Rhaenyra and Aegon are such similar characters, and in this episode, I think we're supposed to think of Rhaenyra and Aemond as parallel characters, because both of them are seeking assurances from lovely feminine figures in their life that they are the big, strong, powerful boy who the gods want in charge of everything.
Yeah, true. I really like how Rhaenyra talks about Viserys rejecting his dragon, and helaena says, as though it's fact, helaena says that, yeah, Viserys didn't want to be changed by his dragon. Like it suggests that helaena really knows all about Viserys's relationship with his dragon.
Yeah.
Right?
And they planted seeds for this back in episode 3 of this season, right? When Daemon said to Rhaenyra, but Viserys renounced his dragon, and that makes him different to us.
Dreamfire is one of the biggest, strongest dragons,
that's
presumably.
7th dragon that I could just have.
Yeah, and especially if, old reliable Ulf betrays her, as he seems to be doing.
Also, something that needs to be mentioned, there's no Hugh in this episode.
Yeah.
We last saw Hugh inside Tumbleton having a spat with his wife, and that's it.
Yeah, what has Hugh spent this episode doing?
Has it been more than 2 days? Ulf went to Tumbleton, so presumably Rhaenyra expects Hugh to come back.
Yeah.
Because they've been taking turns.
Yeah. Well, it's a bit like how Rhaenyra doesn't seem to know that Rhaena never arrived at Pentos.
She should definitely know that.
Is Rhaenyra not interested at all in what's going on with her little children, Aegon and Viserys, in Pentos? And also, it makes no sense to me that, we'll talk about it, but the whole scene where Daemon finds out about Rhaena riding Sheepstealer and goes to the Eyrie.
Yeah, how did that happen?
And Daemon says, Daemon found that out, but Rhaenyra did not find that out.
Yeah, I think that the show is moving past that to make us not think about it. But Jeyne doesn't want Rhaenyra to know. Why would you tell Daemon?
Yeah, well, but I think that Daemon asked Jeyne to not tell Rhaenyra for a day.
Yeah, let me deal with this. Buy me some time, please. He said please, so it must be really mega important, that extra day of time.
Rhaenyra has Addam and Baela flying around seeking intel on dragons, and they would report to Rhaenyra.
Right, but they're not the ones who saw Sheepstealer.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it is just all the more implausible that Rhaenyra doesn't know about Sheepstealer, but Daemon does, and Jeyne does, and the people of Iron Oaks do, and the people of Fairmarket do. All these people know, and Rhaenyra doesn't. Meanwhile, Ormund knows that Daemon pushed Ulf over in King's Landing, and Ormund knows about the murders that are happening by his agents in King's Landing. So Ormund is able to gather information and intel while he is under siege by dragons. And he gets to know what's happening. But Rhaenyra, who is the queen and holds the capital, does not know what's happening.
The difference there is that all those things are happening in King's Landing, where we've seen how Ormond gets information.
Yeah. But I mean...
The things happening in Iron Oaks, Fairmarket, all over the Vale, I think it makes sense that that's harder to track. But also, yes, how the fuck did Daemon know, but Rhaenyra doesn't know?
What I've concluded is that Rhaenyra doesn't have a lot of hot shots on her table at the moment, and so I guess it makes sense that she doesn't know much right now, I guess.
It's still frustrating sometimes,
It is frustrating.
Anyway, Rhaenyra's like, yo, did Aemond tell you to ride? And Helena's like, yeah, it was really traumatic and I didn't like it. And then later on, Rhaenyra grabs Helaena the same way Aemond did.
Right,
So
yeah.
Rhaenyra is becoming the tyrannical Aemond as well, in her desperation for power and legitimacy.
It just really sucks that people keep grabbing and manhandling Helaena when she's so clearly really uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I wonder, it's interesting Helena's wording. She says that, she wants to ride dragons when she was a girl, but now she doesn't. She says, when I'm with Dreamfire,
And then
it's...
gestures vaguely.
And then too much.
So I think what happens there is Helaena is seeing what it's like to be with Dreamfire, and then it's too much.
Yeah, but what's the it before the and? I guess you're saying... What she might be saying is when I'm with Dreamfire, I have a lot of visions and stuff.
It's just too fucking much, man.
And then it's too much.
Yeah.
But maybe it's also just I don't know, it is pretty intense to ride a giant lizard, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough. Even if that lizard is supposedly your magical best friend. So Helena's Viserys didn't want Balerion to alter him, to change him, to turn him into a dragon rather than a man. And like we've seen that. All the other Targaryens are like dragon crazy.
Yeah.
It's happening to Rhaena in front of us. And she asks Rhaenyra, what, you don't think Syrax changed you? And Rhaenyra's like, no, what are you talking about? No, having a dragon is normal.
Well, she says, no, I'm not changed. At least I don't want to be. I do not wish to be.
Wishful thinking, isn't it?
So she kind of is admitting that, yeah, having
Yeah.
6 dragons has changed me. There's a lot of characters in blue. Like, I have a lot of feelings about how Baela wears blue, and also, like, Alicent wears blue. And I feel like with Baela, blue is her, like, Velaryon connection.
Yeah.
As opposed to, like, the red Targaryen colors.
Yes.
And, you know, Alicent has worn green for her Hightower loyalty, but now she so often wears blue, which is like a rejection of her Hightower loyalty.
So does Helaena.
So does Helaena.
Helaena is also wearing blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, the way I think about it is it's Alicent returning to her younger self. It's also the Hightower no longer being at war within her, right? Because the Hightower burns green at war. It's also it's returning to her youth, right? It's returning to the girl who was best friends with Rhaenyra.
So Aemond Targaryen is in Harrenhal.
And what do you do when you're in Harrenhal? You dream about having sex with your mum.
Yeah, it's another parallel. It's another thing that Daemon also experienced in Harrenhal. Something about this bed just causes some weird dreams.
I think it's the black mold. I think there's black mold in the walls of Harrenhal.
Yeah, I think Sarah Hess or Ryan Condal suggested that it was weird swamp gas causing these dreams, perhaps.
Or else it's this swamp air or...
I mean, the actual reason is that the bed is made of weirwood. That's what Alys said.
Yeah.
Anyway, Aemond has a vision of Alicent, and Alicent says, "You're the best.
You're my special boy.
You're my special boy."
I'm so sorry. I did everything wrong. I love you. It's okay that you tried to kill... Oh, whoopsie doopsie. It's okay.
So it's very similar to what Daemon's mother said in that incestuous dream last season.
Yeah. It's what Alicent said to Aemond in episode 1 of this season when he kissed her, which was also her saying the exact things that Alyssa said to Daemon in Daemon's sex dream. So this is it coming full circle.
Yeah, and then like Alys says later, like, all you Targaryen boys want the same thing.
Yeah.
So you know, it's not even just a fantasy. It's something that they've talked about explicitly. That Aemond and also, you know, perhaps Aegon, like, they're all just desperate. And I mean, Darren, certainly, they're all just desperate for like parental approval and for their mother.
So everything Alicent says in this scene is just what Aemond projects that he wants her to say to him, right? Like, especially, I was too young.
Yeah.
And I failed you.
Yeah.
Aemond wants to think that Alicent wanted to do better by him, which is probably true.
Well yeah, I
but
mean...
Aemond doesn't want to think that Alicent has given up on him.
Aemond wants Alicent to apologize for not being a good parent.
Yeah.
So while Aemond has sex with Alicent, she speaks with Alys's voice, saying, "I will give you a son." And then it cuts to reveal that Aemond is in fact having sex with Alys.
Oh, got me. It actually didn't get me. Did it get you?
It did at first.
Wow.
So
no, as soon as she started talking, as soon as she started like being nice to Aemond, I was like, that doesn't sound right. There's something wacky going on here.
Yeah. Oh, well, when she starts saying, "You are so very smart," I mean, I wondered if Alicent was, you know, telling Aemond what he wanted to hear in order to disarm him and then to kill him. Yeah. But what was Aemond doing from Alys's perspective? Was he like...
He might have been having a different
Was he like in a coma while this sex was happening? Like, what on earth was happening from Alys's perspective while Aemond thought he was talking to Alicent?
Well, I would wonder...
Or like, does time do weird things?
Yeah, it might be time. I mean, time definitely does weird things in Harrenhal, as we saw from Daemon's perspective.
Yeah, I guess like the answer with the exact logistics of the vision is don't think about it.
Yeah.
But I think an interesting question is like, to what extent is Alys like manipulating Aemond versus is Aemond just mixed up in the head?
Yeah, is he just going through it and she's there as well?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot going on in Aemond's head right now.
Too much.
Poor baby girl.
Too much.
Like every other scene in Harrenhal this episode, it's fucking hilarious that Alicent walks up, like just walks past Aemond after he's had a sex dream about her.
So then we see Rhaenyra's army. It's really funny that Rhaenyra's like winning the war without having an army at any point.
Well, yeah, it's not really her army, is it?
No,
It's-
well,
It's
yeah.
an army Damon assembled, and it's being led by Oscar Tully and Roderick Dustin.
Yeah,
They march in her name, but they've never met her.
but it's kind of like a fundamental nonsense that ground armies have anything to do with anything when the dragons can easily wipe out ground armies.
Well, today lots of countries have nuclear weapons, and yet conventional warfare is still a thing.
that is a great point. I really like that background detail moment.
Oh yes,
I really like that there's horses carrying supplies
Yeah.
in this army because it like reminds us that, George Martin cares about logistics and supply lines and stuff.
It just makes it feel so real that they're actually carrying food. Another thing I love about this short little scene is all of the heraldry. There is so much heraldry in this scene, and I love it. You
Yeah.
see Blackwood and Bracken and Vance, and is there a Piper back there? We see Mallister, Tully,
I mean, there's
Stark.
a Stark, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful stuff. And my favorite sigil of all, Kristen Cole's head on a poleaxe. What is that weapon specifically?
Halberd.
Halberd.
So Gwayne says that the army of Rivermen and Northmen are approaching, and Ormund says he has a piece on the board. He has a plan that will help.
Yeah, in the previous episode, they cut away when Gwayne asked Ormund to tell him the plan. Gwayne definitely does not know the plan.
Ormund is so smug. It would be very satisfying to see him killed. So Ormund's plan is to, ask Ulf to burn the enemy army? Why not just get Ulf to burn the army now? Like, why wait until the army is at your gates at the last minute?
Because Ormund needs to lure dragons to Tumbleton.
Right.
Ormund wants to use Ulf to kill other dragons for him, so
Right.
he doesn't have to deal with them later.
Right, so you're saying Ormund doesn't want to reveal that Ulf is on his side until
Yeah.
there are dragons for him to
He
kill.
knows that that's going to be really dramatic later on.
Like, I think Ormund's smugness is funny here because, like, he's relying on Ulf, who is completely untested. Ormund did have a better plan previously, which was link up with Aemond and Vhagar and the Baratheon army. Like, that's what Ormund thought he would have at
Yes.
this point. And I guess at this point, he is hoping that, like, I mean, maybe he's thinking of Ulf and Silverwing as, like, a deterrent to buy him more time so that Vhagar and Aemond can turn up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is definitely to deal with the army that's 1 or 2 days march from Tumbleton right now.
Yeah, so I
Like,
think Ormund...
he's going to use Ulf to deal with that army.
Yeah, so I think if Ormund like reveals that he has Ulf and Silverwing, then he's like, okay, well then Vhagar will join, and then the Baratheons will join. And if Ormund had Vhagar and Silverwing and Tessarion, then
And
I
an
think he
army.
really would have a chance.
Yes. Every time we see a shot of Caraxes flying and it begins by him casting a giant shadow over the cliffs or mountains or whatever is like the coolest thing I've ever fucking seen. This shot of him approaching the Eyrie is like, I love it so much every time it happens. If this was the entire show, I'd be happy. He's so long. He's longer than you and Mitchell. There's a reason they show this shot in its entirety every time Daemon goes to the Eyrie.
Yeah. I love this overhead shot, this like fun, creative overhead shot of Daemon bursting into the Eyrie. I also love how Daemon, like, he immediately just walks to the precipice of the moon door.
Yes.
Like every other character, like, sheepishly avoids the precipice of the execution place, but Daemon's the kind of guy who's like, yeah, look at me, I'm not afraid of death. I live on the edge, man.
Please tell me where my daughter is. There's still 1 episode left, and I feel like the Jane Arryn story is not over yet.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be more with her.
Oh, well, they are making Jane Arryn, like, surprisingly a big deal in this point of the story. In the books, she's not a big deal in this point in the story.
And most importantly, we see her girlfriend. We see Jessamine Redfort.
Well, I love that she's, like, canoodling on the throne. Like, what
Yeah.
a flex to, like, canoodle with your partner on your monstrously uncomfortable, ancient, petrified magic tree chair.
Especially
like, hell
because
yeah.
like a homosexual relationship is transgressive.
Yeah, true.
Westeros.
And she's doing it, like, openly in her court.
Yeah. Jane says Rhaena flew from the Eyrie, I suppose, just after I sent it to you, meaning after I told you, Daemon, that she was here. It's clunky, but what I'm getting is Jane is saying that Rhaena is not in her cave. Daemon's asking, where is my daughter? And Jeyne's like, oh, she left the veil.
But Jeyne says I could not hold her in the veil as opposed to in the eyrie.
Yeah.
It is a bit logistically confusing.
Yes. And again, how the fuck did Jeyne send for Daemon specifically?
And
how
how
do you send a letter to the Red Keep saying this one's for Daemon? Don't tell Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah,
that's not a thing.
Yeah,
that letter goes through Maester Allwyle's hands.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it makes no sense that Jeyne told Daemon about Rhaena whilst also intending to tell Rhaenyra, but she chooses to tell Daemon before Rhaenyra. Like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, so send a letter to Daemon specifically somehow. Wait for him to come to the Vale on Caraxes. Then have an argument with him and say, okay, I'll tell Rhaenyra tomorrow. You do something in the meantime.
And we've already established that Jeyne does not like Daemon, does not trust Daemon.
Doesn't like Rhaena.
Yeah. I mean, the actual content of this scene, the dynamic, is fun and great. Like, it is fun and great that Daemon has to swallow his pride and say please and be humble towards Jeyne because Daemon cares about Rhaena. Like, the point of this scene is that it shows that Daemon cares about Rhaena and is willing to humble himself to protect her.
Yeah, and that's really sweet, and I love it. But also, what the fuck is this plot?
Yeah, good character dynamics, bad plot. And I think that is something that is happening more often in this season than it has previously, in my opinion.
Yes, I see this also in the Alicent story.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra as well. Everything else, though, the rest of the show, aside from the three main characters, it's all good.
Jeyne Arryn mentions that Rhaena is living among nettles and sheep.
Oh boy, she said it.
Nettles is the name of the character who rides Sheepstealer in the books.
And whose story Rhaena is sort of doing in the show.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Toxic Butterflies thing, like helena's butterfly book. The show is once again lampshading and referencing the cut, changed storylines and the associated drama.
Yeah, I can see that this is going to bother a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think it's fun, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got two choices. They can either ignore the changes and the controversy, or they can acknowledge it in a sly, winking way and then move on. And I think that acknowledging the reality of the deviations is it's a fine and fun thing to do.
I think most importantly, this is a normal thing for this character to say at this point in time. It's not obfuscating anything. It's not getting in the way. It's just there. If you pick up on it, you're like, oh, she said nettles. And then you can either get mad about it or be like, oh, that's neat.
Yeah, obviously there's a reference for giant nerds only, and it's not something that disrupts the story.
Daemon Targaryen asking the lesbian Jeyne Arryn, please, just give me a day, please. I'm the broke prince. Just please. Beautiful stuff. You love to see it.
He is a changed character.
Well, his circumstances have forced him to solve problems through things that aren't a sword or a dragon.
Hey, Glidus, I had a thought.
Tell me your thought.
I thought that Rhaenyra is not a good queen.
Wow. When did this occur to you?
Today. Now.
Yeah, just
today,
this moment?
now. Yeah.
What has prompted this thought?
Well, I've just been observing Rhaenyra's rule. She's been the Queen of Westeros for 5 episodes now.
Yeah, a few minutes, yeah.
I think it's not going very well. Well, I think she's making bad decisions. It does not feel like she's competent. Well, she's got useless people around her, it seems. She's adding people to her team like Torrhen Manderly and Lady Frey.
These people might be useful in some capacity. We just literally don't know.
Yeah, and
because she's installed them there for very expedient political capital.
Very short-sighted ways.
Yeah.
And she's got people like Rhaena and Baela and Ulf and Hugh and Addam, and she's not like using them or treating them very well.
She's not really communicating with any of them.
Yeah, she seems to sort of lurch from one impulsive decision to another inconstantly. The probationary period is over. We've given her the benefit of the doubt for a while now. And obviously Rhaenyra is better than Aemond and Aegon, who are evil murderers. Obviously she's better than them, but I still feel she's not doing a great job.
Okay. Do you feel as though it's the show's agenda that she's doing not a good job? Do you feel like you agree with the show in this?
I think...
Okay, good.
Yeah, I think we're meant to feel like she's not doing a great job for sympathetic reasons. It gets frustrating at times to see someone just make bad decisions repeatedly and to flail repeatedly. Like, I think that this episode feels like a sort of a farce. It feels like a comedy of errors.
Right.
And that's like fine, but it's different to the sense of like a grand operatic drama of like clashing ideologies, which is what it could have been, but it is not.
It is easy and relatively trivial to understand why the characters are doing the things they are doing.
Yeah.
But I suppose it is framed in such a way where it can come off as, and then this happened, whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I feel like it would help a lot if there was a moment this season where Rhaenyra made a bold, smart choice and it worked and it paid off. And I think we got a bit of that in season 3, episode 2, when she took King's Landing. Like, that was cool. That was good. She took action. She was assertive. She was smart.
It wasn't necessarily a smart choice the way she took.
Oh yeah, that's
King's
true.
Landing,
It was sort of framed as like a
and
suicide
fun.
mission almost. But yeah, it was bold and fun.
And it's interesting to watch our characters do bold things. But like since then, she's been equivocating and vacillating, and it's like been a little bit frustrating at times to watch her go like almond wavering between Daemon's influence, Mysaria's influence, Alicent's influence, and that can be fun. It can also go on a bit long.
She isn't acting as though she's in control of 6 dragons. She's still like staying in her castle going, what's going on? Why doesn't anyone tell me what's going on? I want to do stuff, but I can't. I mustn't. Ah! It just feels like there's a bit of that going on.
Time to kiss Mysaria.
Yeah. Although I'll tell you what is exciting. This episode confirms the existence of dragon poop.
Isn't that fun?
At last.
Hold on. What are you talking about? We knew about dragon poop ages ago.
When did we see dragon poop?
Well, I mean, it's mentioned in Fire and Blood. It's mentioned in Bloody the Princess and the Queen.
Yeah, we know that dragon poop exists in the books,
Oh,
but
hot
this is
D
the first
canon
time we've
dragon
seen dragon poop in the TV show universe.
Well, didn't Ulf fall over in a little pile of Silverwing's poop in season 2, episode 7?
Well, I think that was an egg
Oh, that was a clutch. Oh dear.
Because it does look kind of similar though, doesn't it? There's like the egg mass and then the matter that the egg is in.
Got crazy news for you.
Tell me.
It all comes from the same hole.
The same cloaca.
Yeah.
So Addam and Baela are trying to find Vhagar and Aemond, and they keep going to sites where Vhagar has been.
Yeah.
So I guess like have Addam and Baela been talking to villagers on the ground and asking about Vhagar, and they are being pointed to these leads?
Maybe. Or maybe they're just taking word from the council at King's Landing and like going in and out to like where Vhagar was last seen. Maybe that's Vhagar's poop. Not Moondancer or Baela or Baela's. It's Baela's pile of poop, everyone. Or Sea Smokes. Like maybe those
Baela's
are Vhagar
pile
eggs.
of
Yeah.
poop.
Baela just took a massive dump by the river.
Impressive stuff.
It does occur to me, in a similar vein as Corlys Velaryon standing on the docks for the entirety of season 2, Baela and Addam have been wandering around featureless plains in the Riverlands, like for several different episodes now.
Featureless plains. How dare you speak ill of my babe Wendish town?
Okay, there's a river. I guess that's a feature. There are some trees. They might be features. Actually, no, you know what? Trees are always features in my heart.
Well, no, you're right, because it's often unclear to me where these random paddocks are and whether it's the same random paddocks that we've seen prior. Like, I think we saw the Wendish town site multiple times last episode, but I'm honestly not sure. And they also talk about Fair Market multiple times this episode. And like, I think the confrontation with the 4 dragons happens
near
Fair Market, because like Rhaena goes there because she heard that Vhagar went there,
and maybe Addam and Baela are here because they think that Vhagar was here.
Yeah, but it's all a bit unclear, and like I guess it doesn't matter, but it does just sort of feel like people are just popping about.
Well, at the start of
from
this
place
scene,
to place.
Baela says, "I tire of this endless searching," and you know what, Baela? Me too.
Us too. I love how expressive Clinton Liberty's face is. His eyebrows are doing work. He's got like almost Amelia Clark level eyebrows.
Wow. He's up there in the S tier of eyebrows, you're saying.
It's interesting that like what is Vhagar doing, right? Because it's still this big mystery of like what Vhagar is doing and why without a rider. Like it seems as though Vhagar is like going from place to place to place randomly, unpredictably, never staying still. Like it's not like Vhagar is choosing to like nest somewhere and hunker down. Vhagar is restless. And like presumably hungry, like hungry.
She might
like,
be hungry, yeah.
She might be hungry, but it's like, what what is going on? Like is Vhagar like searching for something? Is Vhagar afraid? Is Vhagar angry? And like the show has very distinctly not shown us Vhagar apart from a very brief shot of Vhagar's eye previously. So
In
it's like
Aemond's vision.
what's going on in that lizard's brain?
So Adam's all like, damn, wouldn't it be crazy if someone like me fell in love with like a highborn lady like you? Wouldn't that be crazy? And Baela's all like, oh, so your brother told you that I had sex with him. And Adam's like, no.
Poor Adam.
Anyway, a well-timed dragon interrupts their conversation.
How's this going to affect things?
I think things are getting real complicated for Addam of Hull. Rhaenyra keeps saying that Addam was the sign from the gods that told her that she could, in fact, be queen.
Yeah.
And she refuses to legitimize him. She refuses basically to give him anything other than orders.
Yeah.
And he wants something more out of life.
Yeah, well, it turns out it's no fun at all to be considered a talisman or an object from the gods.
Oh, don't knock it till you've tried it. And he thought maybe a relationship with my half-niece would be something he could get out of this. And now he can't get that. And now his dad's been abducted and is at Tumbleton and appears to be like a bargaining chip of Ormund's.
Yeah.
And he's chopping fingers off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Adam...
Adam's all tied up in everything that's going on, and yet Rhaenyra's not talked to him a single time.
I think you can argue that Baela, to some extent, is getting off light from Rhaenyra, because Baela, not only is in some way possibly culpable for Jace's death, but like Baela helped or allowed the imprisonment of Rhaenyra, betrayed her queen, defied her queen. So I guess in that sense, Rhaenyra is justified in being angry at Baela. But it's like, what are you going to do about it, Rhaenyra? Are you just going to ignore this dragon riding princess? Are you just going to not talk to her? Are you just going to do the silent treatment to her? That's not a good way to treat your ally. Like, make a call. If you got to punish her, but like, do something, make a choice, and like move on in a way that's productive.
She's becoming Daemon in being distant with Baela and Rhaena, just as Daemon is now starting to take the idea of having children seriously.
Yeah, it's almost like Daemon is becoming more responsible and productive in his relationships, while Rhaenyra is doing the opposite.
It's almost like that, yeah.
Anyway, we've got an uncle incest romance love triangle.
You love to see it.
You love to see it. Alicent is at Harrenhal to murder her son Aemond.
Whoa. She's there to get him murdered by Adrian Redford.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's much more normal. And Alicent tells Aemond, oh, I had to do the thing. I went through the gate and I gave the money and we went through the woods and, oh, really, this is all believable. Please believe me. Like, there's very normal reasons why I'm here. And Aemond is like, are you a hallucination?
I don't know if you're real.
Like, it's very funny that Alicent is trying to convince Aemond of the totally plausible, believable reason why she's here. And Aemond is just like, are you a ghost?
It's sort of like Rhaenyra asking Helaena completely insane questions.
Yeah.
It's like we're just engaging in different levels of reality here. The fact that Alicent watches Aemond kill Adrian, there are so many A's in this Harrenhal
There sure
plot.
are.
The fact that she watches that happen and like still manages to maintain some level of composure.
Oh, it's wild.
Is a testament to her implacability as a politician.
Yeah, well, Alicent has spent like her entire adult life acting and pretending.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But Adrian Redford is a Kingsguard. Like, his only job is to stand there with a sword and stab anything that is a problem. And yet suddenly Adrian's going into deep cover as like a false assassin. Like, that, I mean, that is way outside the job description. And he does a pretty good job.
It keeps happening, though. Because
Yeah, like
Kristen
Eric and
sent
Eric.
to pretend to be Eric so that he could kill Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And that also was insane and bullshit and dumb and didn't work and people died pointlessly, just like what's happening here.
Yeah.
Why are these incredible knights, the paragons of honor supposedly, continuously being forced into these ridiculous situations where monarchs are sending them to go die for no reason?
I really like that this scene with Adrian and Alicent lying happens in front of the weirwood, because you're meant to tell the truth in front of a weirwood because the gods can tell your lies.
This is like the fourth time in a few weeks that Alicent has lied in front of a weirwood.
Yeah, look, Alicent is not going to see the gates of heaven. We know this.
Well, first she'll live. before she dies, you know?
Well, has she ever lived?
I think that's what she's trying to have a go at.
I actually kind of have come around to the idea that like this show only makes sense now if Alicent and Rhaenyra are in love.
We did it. We did it. Oh my God.
I know I've taken a while to get.
my God.
I've taken a while to get here, but I think like this whole like harebrained like
God.
Rhaenyra and Alicent just like dancing around each other, push and pull. They send each other away. They always come back to each other.
Folks, we did it. It's taken 4 years, but we've finally done it.
Yeah, because like the political like plot reasons just don't hold up. Like it has to be like a powerful emotional connection is the only way this makes fucking sense. And I also think that like, you know, Rhaenyra has sex with mysaria this episode, and I think that, you know, Rhaenyra's attraction to mysaria is a substitute for her attraction to Alicent. Rhaenyra doesn't trust mysaria. Like in the scene where they have sex, Rhaenyra says, "Mysaria, I don't trust you. You're full of shit." And Mysaria's like, "Yeah, but do you want to have sex?"
But what if I tell
Rhaenyra's
you
like,
you're
"Okay."
a big smart man who's going to be able to take charge of everything?
Yeah.
What if I tell you that?
I think that like Rhaenyra's dream is for Alicent to be that and to say that for her, which is funny because this episode is also about how Aemond's dream is for Alicent to praise him and have sex with him, and Daemon's dream is for his mother to praise him and have sex
I
with him.
mean, Alicent is Rhaenyra's stepmom.
Yeah. Alicent is like a childhood friend, but also a mother figure. Like there absolutely is mummy issues in Rhaenyra and Alicent's relationship as well, which complicates it even more.
In a political and familial sense, Alicent replaced Rhaenyra's mum.
Yeah. Yeah.
My God.
What does Adrian Redfort think of all this? Like they very suddenly was like, okay, this guy's name is Adrian, and he's a Kingsguard, and now he's gonna kill Prince Aemond.
I mean,
they spent zero time on thinking about what does Adrian think about this? Who is this guy? What's his deal? Like with Eric, they spent like a lot of like great time investigating what the breaking of their oaths means to them, what loyalty means to them. Whereas Adrian's like, "Oh, you want me to kill the prince? All right.
Okie dokie.
Okay."
Well, it is a lot less fraught. I mean, so he is a Kingsguard. He is supposed to protect the royal family. So it is still fraught in like the oathalistic sense. That's right, I just dropped oathalistic, everyone.
What does oathalistic mean?
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. It's, I mean, you know, pertaining to their
This
oaths.
motherfucker's just making up words. Okay, oathalistically, what's going on with Adrian Redfort?
Eric Cargill was sent to kill Rhaenyra, who, as far as he knows, is not a murderer. She's not as bad as Aemond, is the point.
Well, that's not meant to enter the equation. That's not meant to enter the equation.
Yeah,
for
well,
a
it's
Kingsguard.
not. Lots of things aren't meant to enter the equation.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like
The Kingsguard oath, as it pertains to Jaime Lannister, isn't supposed to take into equation that he's in love with his sister.
I think it's perfect. Yeah, I think it's perfectly plausible though that someone like Adrian Redfort, a Kingsguard, might be thinking, "Damn, Aemond is a cool prince. He burninates his enemies." Like, I mean, Adrian has been standing here watching Rhaenyra lurch from one nonsense to another.
He's probably just happy to be out of King's Landing.
He's just happy to get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Man. I did like how, you know, Alicent was like, "We've been wandering through the woods for days and it's wild out there." And that does like make me think, what was this journey like?
What I find quite puzzling, actually, is Alicent says, "Oh, Adrian Redfort, he's been a stalwart ally of mine." And it's like, didn't Rhaenyra make him a Kingsguard like last week?
Yeah. I think there's a very strong sense of who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And I think that his death could mean something if we knew something about who this guy
Well,
is.
I think there's no chance on earth any casual viewer is expecting that Adrian Redfort is about to kill Aemond Targaryen.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if they'd characterized Adrian just like a tiny bit, then we might actually care about what's otherwise a surprising but emotionally empty moment of violence.
This guy has said and done barely anything the entire show, which is, you know, this show has a shitload of main characters, but I suppose it could have optimized more for meaning in this character.
So the Valyrian Steel Catspore Blade
Yeah, man.
has now killed the Night King,
Yep.
Littlefinger,
Uh-huh.
Adrian Redfort,
Yeah.
Simon Strong.
Simon Strong.
Anyone else? Am I missing anyone?
Did he use it on the Gormless Sons? No, I think he used Blackfire.
May have. I think he was like dual wielding when he took Harrenhal. It is also like very fun that Aemond is like, "I had to kill Adrian. I can't trust anyone, mother, who would never murder me."
Well, he just had a weird sex dream about her. Of course she would never betray him.
I mean, Aemond is also like, "Oh, Alicent has secrets. She's full of shit." And yet, I would never suspect her. I mean, and of course that speaks to the fact that, well, of course a son is never going to believe that a mother would murder him. You know, like, that's just not a thing that you think is, oh,
Yeah.
my mother must be here to murder me. Like, that's just not a thought that most people have.
Well, I suppose it's more likely for you to think it if you're living in feudalism time, where things like that are fucking wild and can and did happen.
Yeah.
But, Aemond is mummy's boy, and it's not in his head.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one thing to ask, like, is it plausible for a mother to kill their son? Like, I'm sure it's happened. But, like, I think it's another question. Is it reasonable for Rhaenyra to ask Alicent and to expect it to work? And I think that, like, the plausibility of it from Rhaenyra's perspective is even more sort of hard to swallow.
I think House of the Dragon is hinging a lot on me believing exactly how desperate Rhaenyra is on a lot of these plot points.
Yeah, I agree. But I also think that the other angle is that Rhaenyra is just deliberately putting Alicent into a fucked up situation as a kind of punishment. Like, I think that someone said as much in one of the inside the episodes or the podcasts.
Right, yeah.
Like, I think that Rhaenyra is enjoying having power over Alicent after Alicent had power over her for all these years. And so it's a kind of revenge, which is mixed with all of the love. It's messy.
Then Alys Rivers shows up and says, oh, cool, it's dinner time. And Alicent, like, Olivia Cook is so fucking funny.
Yeah.
The look she gives to Aemond, that, like, what the fuck is going... Like, I just watched Adrian Redfort die. He's the one person I came with. We had a plan, and now that's over. And then this strange woman has appeared saying that it's time for supper. What is going on here?
Yeah. No, yeah. Olivia Cook kills it this episode.
It sort of is a screwball comedy.
Yeah. No, yeah. This is a very, like, comedic, wacky, farcical episode. What are you about, Hightower?
It just bothers me that Corlys doesn't use a sailing metaphor in questioning Ormund.
That's true. Corlys goes an entire conversation without mentioning a sailing or a storm or the seas even once.
Well, he's at Tumbleton right now. Has he ever been further inland? Like, this is a fish out of water.
True.
This is a seahorse out of the polo field.
True. It's very funny that Ormund has Lord Corlys Hightower, Hand of the Queen, hostage.
Velaryon.
And what you, like, might do in such a situation is Ormund might say, hey, we will give you Corlys back as a hostage swap, and you can give us Alicent Hightower
Helaena,
and Queen Helaena.
The pregnant Queen
The
Helaena.
pregnant Queen Helaena. Princess Jaehaera. Like, in this world, you're kind of meant to care when your enemy has your family, your royal family hostage, but nobody cares. And nobody even talks about caring.
Well, yeah. So I think the show is trying to make a point about... well, it's not saying it, so maybe it isn't, but I'm thinking that the show is making a point that no one cares about these women.
Well, wouldn't this scene be a nice opportunity for Corlys to say, oh, you could exchange me for them, and Ormond could go, what do I need for my foolish women? I don't need them. I mean, that wouldn't make that point if they want to make that point.
Darren, Alicent's son, is sitting right there thinking, what the fuck, can you please save my mum?
Well, yeah, Darren should say that.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
I mean, like, Corlys is Rhaenyra's hand, so Darren should be saying to Corlys, like, hey, is my mum okay? Where is my mum?
As for what Ormond's planning on doing with Corlys, he, instead of using him as a hostage swap chip, he's using him to make it so that the Velaryons don't want to help Rhaenyra take control of the city back. So he's decided that the best way for him to continue to stoke disarray in King's Landing is to kidnap Corlys. I mean, like, definitely that would do that.
Yeah.
That certainly will contribute to continued disorder in King's Landing, but it's also like, so I'll send John Roxton to cross the entire Crown Lands.
Yeah.
To try and kidnap the Hand of the Queen.
Well, like, how does Ormond know where Corlys was? Like, it's just so crazy that Ormond knows
it's
what's
John
going
Roxton
on
is a faceless
everywhere
man.
at all the time.
It's the only possible explanation.
Like, Ormond is more informed about what's happening in King's Landing and the Crown Lands than Rhaenyra does.
Yeah.
And he should be under siege. It's a bit dumb school.
So Darren's like, hey, Ormond, how the fuck is that going to help? Which I love.
Yeah.
It is fun that he says that.
Well, Ormond should have answers to that question. Like, well, Vhagar's going to join us and the Baratheons are going to join us. And hey, Darren, you have a dragon, remember? Like, those are all potential answers. So Ormond is kind of like fake friendly with Corlys for a bit. And then Ormond cuts off Corlys's finger. So I wonder if Ormond was thinking, that maybe he could keep Corlys as some kind of ally or collaborator to some extent, but then because Corlys is so defiant in this scene, Ormund decides in this moment to cut off Corlys's finger. Do you think that's what's happening?
I think it might have always been the plan.
Hmm.
I think Ormund's just a bit of a weirdo.
He's just enjoying toying with Corlys.
Yeah. I fucking love that Darren like stumbles and stutters in his first ever challenge of Ormund's bullshit. He's so unconfident and unready to challenge his sire.
Well, yeah, I mean, Darren has seen Ormund fail, like, in the face of the false Baratheon envoy, etc. So I think Darren has to be becoming a bit more confident that, oh, yeah, like, Ormund is not infallible. I can stand up to him.
But he's also seen what happens when Ormund gets upset and he doesn't get his way. So he's very aware of how this might go.
Yeah. It is really fun that Ormund is like, I'm vegetarian, but I am going to cut off your finger. Like, I love his whole, like, tension of being, like, proper and civilized, but he's, like, the most, like, treacherous murderer of the lot.
I think I will only ever eat plants from now on.
And your
I'll
fingers.
eat your fingers, too.
He also mentions the Narthi, because the people in Narth are vegetarian.
He says the people of Narthi, when, like, the people are the Narthi, and they are of Narth. They are the people of Narth.
Ormund's information might be a bit off. This is the second reference to Narth, because we saw the butterfly book that Helaena had earlier referred to the butterflies of Narth.
That's right.
Lot more Narth lore than I was expecting this season.
I wonder if it's going to come up again. I wonder if it'll be plot relevant. Rule of 3, baby.
Well, Ormund questions why Corlys is allies with the Targaryens, and in fairness, Corlys has talked about how allying with the Targaryens has destroyed him.
He's been talking about that for ages.
Yeah, Ormund is more correct than he knows. And mentioning Rhaenys, of course, infuriates Corlys.
Yeah, one bloody conversation with Ormund Hightower, and Corlys would rather spend the rest of the week in a cell. Oh, and before you leave, can I just chop your finger off real quick?
There's no way that Ormund personally cuts off Corlys's finger, because Ormund is so squeamish and pukes at the sight of blood. So Gwayne and Darren question why Ormund is so confident, because they don't know that Ormund has convinced Ulf to be on their side with his dragon Silverwing.
Because Ormund thinks it's way more fun if no one knows what he's up to.
Yeah.
It does frustrate me sometimes how a show like obfuscates things that characters would otherwise say to each other, obviously, just to like draw it out so it's revealed to the audience at a more dramatic time. But also, like, the show has built up that Ormund is like that.
Ormund is the kind of smug villain arsehole who does that kind of thing.
The blocking of this scene reminds me very much of Game of Thrones. It just feels like another Game of Thrones scene.
Because it's people in rooms talking.
Yeah, pretty much. And like we see the walls of the room, and like we're looking in through a door, and there's objects in the room. There's a bushel of wheat behind Gwayne, for God's sake.
Bushel of wheat?
A bushel of wheat. How Selmy reference?
The great irony of all of this is that Darren might actually be a good king.
Yes, like so far from what we've seen of him, he does seem to be the most appropriate young lad, capable of actually being considerate. Although, like, you need to be more than considerate to be a king. You need to be more than thoughtful.
Yeah. I mean, Rhaenyra is similarly considerate, and she isn't succeeding very well.
Yeah, the thing is, you do need. Like, the reason Jaehaerys' reign worked so well is that he was thoughtful and smart and considerate, and he had a giant dragon he wasn't afraid to threaten people with.
It's interesting how, Darren is saying, I don't want to be king, I don't want glory. Like, he kind of flirts with the idea of running away, but, thinks he has no home. Like, it's similar to Alicent, right?
Yes.
Like, Alicent also has no desire for power or glory at this point.
And just wants to do what she can to get away from it all.
Yeah, I think that Darren belongs in the montage with Alicent and helaena and Jaehaerys and the chickens.
Yeah.
I think that might be where he is happiest too.
You don't really see a way forward for that, though. Gwayne says the dream some have of covering themselves in everlasting glory, like he says is about Ormund, but obviously the subtext is Kristen, of somehow transcending humanity's common fate. And then Darren apologizes that the guy you were in love with is dead.
Yeah, Darren's the one person who shows a bit of compassion and empathy for Gwayne's loss.
Yeah, whereas previously Ormund was just a dick about it. And then later on, Darren says, I have no concern with like glory. I have no worry about being insignificant. So he's like contrasting with these previously explored ideas about the glory that people want in life.
Yeah.
And they talk about ending. They talk about leaving. Like, how can we get away from this without continuing in Ormund's bullshit? And it seems like they're convinced that they're just so caught up in it that there's no way out.
Does Ormund know that the dragon rider Addam is Corlys' son?
I would sort of be shocked if he didn't, because he somehow sent that finger to Alyn.
Yeah, what? Yeah, how did he send that to Alyn?
It's sort of like, how did Jeyne write to Daemon?
Yeah.
How did Ormund get that to Alyn specifically? What's the outcome here? Gwayne thinks you could fly away on Tessarian. Darren says, no, I can't. Gwayne's like, oh, should I have left for Old Town? No, I can't. What? They're just stuck here dealing with Ormund's bullshit, right?
Well, I mean, Gwayne is like, you could fly away, and Darren's like, where would I go? Who would accept me? And like, the answer is Old Town.
What would you have me do?
Like, her home is his home is Old Town, and like, even if Darren can't like find acceptance elsewhere, he could at least save Gwayne from being stuck here. I mean, like, Ormund did say you can go to Old Town, I suppose.
Yeah, Gwayne actually has leave. He can go wherever the fuck he wants.
I think the real reason why Darren and Gwayne can't leave on Tessarian is that presumably Silverwing or Vermithor would kill them.
Yeah, but also they feel like someone needs to try and contain Ormund.
Yeah.
Because Darren says, he would just continue as he is. He would stay up on his bullshit. So Dan Folger says, I found some shit. My daughter found some shit smeared on my door, and it's your fault, Rhaenyra, for telling the people that it's my fault that everyone's poor and hungry and dying.
Aye.
And Rhaenyra says, well, what do you want me to do about it? And like, why are the people poor and dying and hungry and mad at you? And Dan Folger says, what could I possibly do while wearing the most expensive outfit I've ever seen? I've suggested a tax.
No, that's accurate.
Yeah, that's it. That's the scene.
Is Torrhen competent or useful or good at anything? And Rhaenyra is like failing to use his potential? Or is Torrhen useless? A useless windbag? It would be interesting to know, wouldn't
He
it?
suggested a tax.
Yeah, I mean, that's a reasonable suggestion, isn't it? They need money. That's how governments get money.
Absolutely. But like, that's the extent of what he said.
It would be kind of fun if Rhaenyra at some point realizes, oh, Torrhen was actually kind of smart. Maybe I should have listened to him at some point.
On the wealthy, so that I can redistribute their wealth to the poor.
Well, that's the thing. That's exactly what Rhaenyra did earlier when she took the
Mysaria
food from
wants
the
her
rich.
to do.
Yeah, Torrhen and Mysaria could theoretically ally and like be friends.
But as Sylvie says to Mysaria, once a whore, always a whore. Like, they're not going to take you seriously. Dan Folger doesn't want to talk to Mysaria.
yeah, well, Torrhen said that there are undesirables from Flea Bottom, and Mysaria's like, oh, he's going to think I'm just an undesirable. He's going to think I'm just a whore.
So Torrhen's all like, I think you put me here to be blamed for all the things you want me to be blamed for. And then Mysaria, sippy, sip, sip, sip. Don't look at me. I'm just an innocent person over here not doing anything wrong. And then Rhaenyra's like, anyway, what about all this other stuff?
Mysaria and Rhaenyra have got to realize that this, like, blaming your own government for your failures is, like, not helping the success of your government,
It's
right?
nonsense.
Yeah.
But it's so funny that was Mysaria's idea.
Well, yeah, it makes sense because Mysaria is, like, an outsider who's good at, like, disrupting governments from outside. But now that she's inside a government, she doesn't really know how to run a government. I don't know. I know I've said it, but, like, what the fuck is Mysaria doing as Mistress of Whisperers? Ormund seems to know everything that's happening everywhere, and Rhaenyra seems to know nothing.
Rhaenyra needs to call Mysaria out on that.
Yeah.
It's Mysaria's one job
Yeah.
to be abreast of all the things happening in the city.
Yeah, Torrhen declares that he has a reputation to uphold, and I'm fascinating what reputation Sir Torrhen Manderley of the North has in King's Landing. Does anyone in King's Landing know who Torrhen Manderley of the North is?
I was renowned for my impeccable door.
Yes.
And now my door has had some foul matter smeared across it.
Yes.
My reputation has been ruined.
So Lady Frey says, oh, so anyway, we're all hoping that Adrian Redfort will murder Aemond Targaryen.
Who the fuck hasn't Rhaenyra told about that?
Right? That should be secret. Like,
Why does Sabbatha Frey know about that?
Exactly. Why Queen Rhaenyra is sending one of her Kingsguard and the enemy queen Alicent to kill her own son, Prince Aemond, who is Rhaenyra's half-brother. So Rhaenyra is kinslaying and committing like treason and doing the most like dishonorable, treacherous bullshit, not to mention it's harebrained to release the enemy queen.
Right, not to get all Charles I on you, but how can the queen commit treason?
Well, sure, that's one for the philosophers. But like what she's doing breaks so many of the foundational rules of this world, like the moral rules of honor. And Rhaenyra has told everyone this. Like she tells Sabbatha Frey this, and then Sabbatha
Off-screen?
and then gives Sabbatha Frey the biggest castle in Westeros.
Yeah, it's
like what?
batshit.
What are you doing, Rhaenyra? This
Yeah,
should
no.
be secret. This is not normal, and no one is saying that this is not normal. Like Sabbatha Frey should be saying, like, "What? You sent who to kill who? What? You think that's gonna work? What?"
The bed's made of what? He thought what of his mother?
Rhaenyra just says, "Oh yeah, go to Harrenhal now." She doesn't say go to Harrenhal if Aemond dies. She says just take it.
Well, yeah, yeah, okay. So Rhaenyra is flippant and sick of shit. Like, she is, as we are constantly seeing, making batshit decisions based on what's directly in front of her, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Rhaenyra shouting just take it is given a bit of gravity. Like, we're supposed to think, what the fuck? Addam says that the previous scene that he had with Baela was on the banks of the Blue Fork near Fairmarket. So
Yeah.
that scene was at, like, near Fairmarket.
Because Rhaena and Sheepstealer were going after Vhagar, who was recently near Fairmarket.
Geography understood.
But like, Addam and Baela have been chasing Vhagar unsuccessfully for weeks now. If they saw Sheepstealer, they could have gone after Sheepstealer to see who Sheepstealer's rider is, but they instead came to Rhaenyra and will then fly all the way back, by which time Sheepstealer will probably be gone, just like how Vhagar has been gone.
But yeah, aren't they given orders to, like, not engage and just scout? Aren't they supposed to be on scouting missions?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know what their orders are, because Rhaenyra said find out Aemon's intentions, but don't approach Aemond. How do you find out Aemon's intentions without approaching Aemond?
You shout very loudly, "Oi! What are you up to?" And you just hope that he replies.
I do like that the Rhaenyra stress tinnitus comes back in. The season 3, episode 3 Rhaenyra stress tinnitus.
Yeah, she's got her auxiliary percussionists behind her off screen.
It's funny because like so many things are going wrong, but the thing that really shakes Rhaenyra is, oh yeah, Daemon is lying to me, isn't he?
Yeah. And it is about the circumstances of her son's death.
It's interesting that this episode is about Rhaenyra losing trust in Daemon, and that's what happened in season 2, episode 2.
Yeah.
When Rhaenyra was mad at Daemon for doing blood and cheese and told him to fuck off. So like it's kind of a repetition of that, what's happening now. I think that the difference that makes it interesting is that this time Daemon has done something that's not just selfish, he's doing something to actually help Rhaena.
Yes.
So like Daemon's disobeying Rhaenyra for a good reason this time. I think that Mysaria should find it interesting that Daemon cares about his daughter Rhaena. Like Mysaria was Daemon's lover. She knows Daemon. And it would be like interesting for her to
Right.
see Daemon caring about his family for once.
Yeah, Daemon's behavior has been, like, notably different recently.
Yeah.
In season 3, episode 2, Mysaria said to Daemon, "It's not about you," and he didn't immediately kill her.
Yeah.
That's a departure from previous Daemon behavior.
Yeah. So I think that like, yes, Mysaria should hate Daemon and want to get rid of him. But I think it'd be nice to see like curiosity from Mysaria as well.
I think it makes sense, though, that she isn't willing to entertain his bullshit at all.
Yeah, true.
Given who she is and their relationship together. What I really love about this conflict between Mysaria and Daemon via Rhaenyra is that everyone's perspective makes complete sense. Like, Mysaria would describe Daemon's actions as impetuous and childish and
Yeah.
would expect that he is doing something to undermine Rhaenyra, because why should she expect anything else? And it makes sense that Rhaenyra like completely believes that he has sworn to serve her.
Mysaria grabs Rhaenyra's arm.
Ooh,
But that's not all she wants to grab.
wow. She wants to grab her attention.
Is that the same arm that Alicent slashed with a knife in season 1?
No.
It's the other arm.
Yeah, they both get one arm each. Mysaria knows that Daemon is capable of great harm
Yeah.
and needs Rhaenyra to remember that.
Yeah, and it is a fact. But like also, you know, Rhaenyra married this man. And this man is politically important and a dragon rider, whether she likes it or not.
Yeah.
And I think the other deep fear is that Mysaria is like, Rhaenyra is Daemon. Rhaenyra is like Daemon,
Yes.
unavoidably. And that's like, she's terrified that like, Rhaenyra, this person who she's attracted to, might be a monster, just like Daemon, who Mysaria was once perhaps attracted to.
Presumably.
It's very funny, like Aegon, Larys, and Tyland are riding towards Maidenpool to take a ship to Bravos. And Larys is like, oh, it's an excellent destination for wine
You'll
and
love it
dining.
there.
And,
Yeah.
the excellent attractions. We can look at the Titan of Bravos.
It'll be a
and,
home from home.
Oh, it'll be delightful. It's got excellent ratings on the Airbnb. And Larys is like, and Tyland's like, oh, Castle Rock will be much more sumptuous. Like they're talking about it as though it's a tourist
A holiday.
destination, whereas like
Yeah.
Aegon this season is like trying to be taken seriously as a
I'm
king.
the king, for fuck's sake. I need to be in King's Landing on the throne, commanding the realm.
And no one has ever taken Aegon seriously.
Yes.
Like Alicent was the same. Even while Alicent was trying to put Aegon on the throne, she was not listening to anything he had to say.
Leave that alone. When Aegon was the fucking king, no
Yeah.
one was listening to him.
Yeah. Aegon, Larys, and Tyland find out that a Mooton army is approaching.
Oh god,
Rook's
not the mootons. Those are the most ferocious of all the rivermen.
the most feared fish in the Crown Lands.
What are they, a salmon?
Rhaenyra Targaryen ordered the Mootons to go from Maidenpool to Rook's Rest
Yeah.
in season 2, episode 6.
They have been busy.
This episode, they say 1,000 Mootons are approaching.
That's a
Rook's
lot of
Rest.
mootons.
That's a lot of
That's an
Mootons.
entire school of
That's
fish.
more than you can poke a stick at.
That's
to
an
be
entire
sure.
district of schools of fishes.
Well, we see multiple Mootons at Harrenhal.
There's more than one mooton at Harrenhal.
There are many Mootons,
So there
to
are
be
at
sure.
least 1,002 mootons in this.
So there's a contingent of Mootons in the Riverlord's army, and there's also a contingent of Mootons approaching Rook's Rest, presumably from Maidenpool,
Yeah.
I guess?
It sounds to me like there's nobody left at Maidenpool right now.
Yeah.
Which is, Maidenpool is relevant to plot points coming up in the near future of the book, at least.
Verily.
Yeah.
Verily. Well, it's all gotten a bit complicated now. I mean, what I was going to try and say is, like, how did the Mootons not arrive at Rook's Rest yet, given that Rhaenyra ordered them to go to Rook's Rest
An entire season.
months ago?
Yeah.
Because, like, in those months, we saw the Winter Wolves get from the Twins to Tumbleton. Like, we saw the Winter Wolves pass the Twins in season 2, episode 8. Now they're right outside Tumbleton. That is...
And they fought like 3 battles along the way.
Yes. And if you look at the map, Rook's Rest is so close to Maidenpool.
Oh, they are like it's a hop, skip, and a jump. From the feeling of this scene, it feels like the Mootons left like yesterday. Like they're only just now getting around to doing the thing Rhaenyra asked them to do months ago.
In that same time span, Aegon went from comatose, covered in burns in bed, to like walking around
riding a
healed.
horse. Yeah. I mean, he's not healed. He's still grunting sometimes.
But he's
yeah.
improved a lot. And in that time, the Mootons have not made it to Rook's Rest. The explanation in the episode is that they say that the Mootons have been going from village to village looking for Tyland Lannister. Who ordered them to do that? We never saw Rhaenyra Rhaenyra send an order saying, "Oh, I told the Mootons to go to Rook's Rest, but actually I want them to look for Tyland Lannister." Rhaenyra doesn't know Tyland Lannister is alive
all
because
we know-
Corlys just got told that Tyland was heading for Rook's Rest. He just found out that Tyland is still alive.
And then he told Alyn. So, like, theoretically, Alyn could have told Rhaenyra, but I feel like we should have been shown that.
I think that they made up this idea that they're looking for Tyland at the last minute when they were like, "Oh, why are they not at Rook's Rest already?" I think the show's better when it makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah. I like it more when it gets better when you think about it.
Yeah,
Instead of getting worse when you think about it.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
But
I'm
also,
with you there.
like, in the grand scheme of the show, it matters little.
I confess that the precise movements of Wallace Mooton are not of enormous importance.
But it would be nice if it was, like, clear
It
and
would be
made
better
sense.
because it makes the world feel real.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like, cause and effect, a world with consequences, as opposed to a world of arbitrary nonsense happening for the purposes of whatever contrived plots the writers farted out last week.
You feeling all right, man?
Look, I had a lot of fun watching this episode, but I'm not having a lot of fun thinking about this episode. It feels like it could have been plotted out a little bit more thoughtfully, or it could make more sense than it does. Like yeah, as we said, like all of Jane Aaron's weird communications and like how does Ormund know what he knows and the movements of the Mootons, like it doesn't gel as much as it perhaps could. And I've got a bad feeling that all of our speculations about how Ormund is killing those gold cloaks, I've got a bad feeling it's not going to be explained.
I also am having that feeling. I also feel like their explanation for that has already been given to us, and it is incomplete. So Aegon reckons that the mootons are looking for him, but the Fosbury flop, the beautiful twist, the
Fosbury flop,
the vanilla chocolatey twist and the swirl is that they're actually looking for Tyland. Whoa!
That's the fudge in this cornetto.
Really not an interesting plot point, I think. I think Alyn is acting hand of the queen.
Yeah, no, okay.
And I think the show needed to have a scene where Alyn fucking told Rhaenyra that Tyland Lannister is like just a single line in a council scene, please.
Well, because like so many of Rhaenyra's problems come from the fact that she has no money. And the fact that she has no money is because of Tyland Lannister and Otto moving the money. So, like, Rhaenyra should care a lot about Tyland, and we should know who knows about Tyland.
I think I genuinely think that the problem is between Alyn finding that out and this plot point of the mootons looking for Tyland.
Yeah, there should have been a scene where Alyn's like, Rhaenyra, I heard that reports that Tyland is at large in the Crown Lands, and Rhaenyra could say, oh, well, the mootons are on the march. Tell them to look for Tyland.
Like, not even that. Why not just Rhaenyra says to Orwyle, send a letter to the mootons. They need to look for Tyland Lannister around Rook's Rest, because then we get the implied connection between Alyn and Rhaenyra. As it is, there's too many steps that are missing in the plot.
Yeah, but you know.
But the thing is, like, this is the sort of show that should explain that, and there are shows out there that don't explain that sort of thing, and they are worse for it, at least in my eyes.
This scene with Aemond and Alicent and his witch girlfriend. It's a bit like when you're living with your parents and someone stays over and then you all have breakfast in the morning.
Yeah.
And so your parents have casual conversation with the person you're having sex with.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just like try to be civil, but there's a certain amount of awkwardness in the room. My favorite bit is when Alicent says, who do you serve? And Alys says, I generally follow my own dictates. And it's the funniest thing possible. Like Alicent's reaction, her face is so fucking funny because Alicent's entire life is about her struggle to follow her own dictates. Her attempts to even figure out what her own dictates are. Like Alicent has only recently like come up with the idea of what if I had agency, and Alys is like, oh yeah, no, I've just always preferred to do whatever the fuck I want.
Sort of just go around doing however I feel. Yeah,
it's crazy. I think Aemond is enjoying his mother's absolute bafflement at this completely different person he's having sex with.
Look at that smirk.
Yeah, he's loving it. The other funny thing is that Alys is older than Alicent is. So, like, Alicent is looking at Aemond having sex with a woman older than his mother.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, older in the sense that she's a 400-year-old tree, but also older in the sense that she is older.
Right, and also the last thing that happened between Aemond and Alicent is that he kissed her. He passed her all sexy like. So yeah, that's fucking weird.
Well, Alicent has kind of gone from I'm horrified that my son is sexually attracted to me to I'm horrified that my son is sexually attracted to someone who isn't me.
Well, someone who's obviously a surrogate for me in a very weird way. And who is this lady that my son is sleeping with?
Well, it's also
she's a lady. Don't worry about it.
Well, I mean, Alys is not hiding the fact that she's a barn owl. She's a witch.
Yeah.
She's like a completely different like species of being.
Aemond doesn't really know how to explain who Alys is, though.
Well, you're right. Like he's enjoying not explaining it. You know?
Yeah.
He's enjoying baffling his mother. This is a teenage rebellion.
Alicent asks, I don't understand who this woman is.
Yeah.
And Aemond doesn't say, oh, she's the ghost of the weirwood grove that Harren the Black chopped down.
Yeah.
Alicent is, like, I mean, we were talking about Corlys being a seahorse out of water earlier. Alicent is a tower out of water at the moment now, right? She's a lighthouse in the middle of the continent for some reason. I am thinking that perhaps this conversation is what gets Alicent to think, okay, fuck, I have to do it myself.
I love how Aemond is like, Rhaenyra has allied with commoners, so she can't possibly succeed. Anyway, I'm going to marry this witch and live in a haunted house. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I'm going to make an awesome new dragon empire in the mud of Riverlands.
Yeah, Alys really is fuckling with Aemond's brain. In the books, it suggests that Alys is using love potions to manipulate Aemond.
I think it's more fun if it's not fucking potion.
I mean, we saw Alys using potions on Daemon.
Yeah, but that wasn't a love potion, was it? That was just
yeah.
Maybe that was just like lemon tea.
Yeah,
Just, you know?
Daemon's brain just did that.
Yeah.
Look, I think that it's also just a sufficient explanation that Gale Rankin is hot.
True.
It's just really funny that Prince Blood Purity, Aemond Targaryen, is like, well, gonna make babies with this mud witch I found in a castle. Does Aemond have no questions about like the heritage? Like this is a world where heritage matters.
A new line of unsullied kings with this baseborn wench I found in this hut.
Yeah, it's so fun.
Well, what the fuck is Alys's blood?
Owl.
It could be really cool, important Greenseer blood.
Yeah, this is like Aemon's like ultimate psychosexual fantasy, is to have his like two mummies under his control in his haunted castle where he can just do what he wants. They talk a lot about climate in this show.
Climate, food.
Alice says, the swamp gas is disagreeing with your mother's humors. Send her back to the south.
She needs to get out of my sight immediately for her own health.
If the swamp gas doesn't get her, I will.
Also, she's come here to kill you.
I mean, Alys could, like, murder Alicent, glamour her, have her taken away by bats. Like, this is Alys being nice. Like, she could take the kid gloves off if she wants. I mean, at the end of this episode, Alicent is still at Harrenhal and has no means of leaving Harrenhal, as far as I'm aware.
Alicent is in, like, a horror movie situation at the end of this episode.
Husband, I need to talk to you in the kitchen.
You have to chop more wood. I need to talk to you outside where you can chop wood. I'm gonna toss my plate around. I'm so angry with you.
It's really funny that Aemond is like, I do not wish to be coddled like a child, when he's very clearly indicated that that's precisely what he wants, to be coddled like a child.
I do not wish to be coddled like a child, which is why I'm hanging out with my two mums.
I love the like on-the-nose sound effect that they give to the axe,
Yeah.
like the whoosh and crack.
I think it's like the most pointed sound effect this show has ever had, which is saying a lot. There's a lot of very pointed sound effects. So Alys says that, Alicent's come to do you some ill. She wishes evil upon you. And Aemond says, she's my blood. She'd never hurt me. And as though we're supposed to, like, you're at war with your sister, Aemond.
Yeah.
You tried to kill your brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Your brother tormented you your entire life. You know that blood is meaningless. My designs for our future did not include your mother. How many women have said this?
Yeah, this is also like, oh no, my mother-in-law has come to town and she's awful.
Yes, and that is the truth of it. You want me to, like, it's all about competing for my attention in Aemon's head.
The only currency that anyone can possibly care about is my attention. I think it's really fun how Alys, the murderer, is warning Aemond, the murderer, that Alicent might be a murderer.
I mean, we are speculating that Alys's plan is to have Aemond's children so that she can kill them. And she is warning Aemond that Alicent, who had Aemond as a child, is trying to kill Aemond.
Yeah, Alys and Alicent are both potentially trying to murder Aemond, but they're like, don't let the other one murder you. I want to murder you.
I need your special blood for my blood sacrifice. In the book, there's no like line from Alicent to Alys as it pertains to Aemond, right? There's no connection there.
I mean, Alicent and Alys don't meet each other, no.
Yeah, and like their names are never spoken in the same breath. And the show's put them in the same place at the same time, and Aemond has dream sex with both of them at the same time. So the show has like made that line up, and it works for me at least. And the characters have the same name. What the fuck is going on here?
Coinky dink or not?
I think not. Well, I mean, they have the same name. Did George intend this? On some level?
Are you asking me if George R.R. Martin intended incestuous undertones?
I think it's possible. Alys says, you Targaryen boys all want the same thing, don't you? And then it cuts to Aemond mewing, just like how Jace was mewing. So that's the one thing that Targaryen boys all want. They want to mew. They want to mog.
Well, you're right that they keep making these shots of Aemond in profile.
Why would you ever show him front on if not to make some comparison with the eye? He was born to be shown in profile.
So Alicent is feeling a bit overwhelmed, and she decides to sneak out to find a weapon on her dead protector with which to kill her son.
Well, I think she just went out to get some air and was like, "Oh yeah, Adrian Redfort's corpse. Let's." And then she has the idea to take a weapon. Like, she's having a lot of ideas coming up in her head as they appear in front of her, right?
It's just
But because she gets the knife, and then she's like, "Oh fuck, I can't actually kill Aemond, can I?" And then she sees the leaves, and it's like, "Oh my god, the one time I listened to my daughter was about how I can kill my son."
Oh, is that the same poisonous flower? Right.
It all comes together. Yes, no, that is so. It's come full circle. Helaena was telling, like, I can't believe Alicent was actually listening. It was fucking funny to me the first time I saw this when Alicent walked out into the Godswood and Adrian Redford is just still there.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we have to deal with this body at some point, but supper is ready.
Yes.
And the broccoli will get cold.
It really feels like inexplicable murders are just something that happens every week at Harrenhal.
Especially in Harrenhal, yeah.
So Aegon, Tyland, and Larys are walking away from Rook's Rest towards Maidenpool, but they bump into Tom Tangletongue coming the opposite direction, even though Tom Tangletongue should be coming from Rook's Rest.
Weren't they going back to Rook's Rest after the people were fleeing from Maidenpool? Well, I mean, they're the same woods that we've seen them in throughout these episodes, right? I think that they were going back to Rook's Rest, and we see Tom Tangletongue coming out of Rook's Rest.
Right. It's just kind of confusing because they were going towards the fleeing people who were fleeing from Maidenpool.
The Mooton army.
But now they are going towards Rook's Rest and they are also moving in the opposite direction to the people.
At the end of the episode, they're at Sunfyre, who was near Rook's Rest.
Yeah, okay.
Why is Tom Tangletongue leaving Rook's Rest? Good question.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Tyland was saying, we can hold Rook's Rest against the Mootons, but I guess the people of Rook's Rest decided that they do not want to do that, so they're fleeing.
Yeah, I suppose that does make sense, that like, oh, fuck, there's an army coming, the gig's up, let's go. I love the look that Aegon gives Tyland when he finds out that the army's looking for him instead of him, because it's like, oh, fuck, if you hadn't shown up, we wouldn't be in this bind. Like, what has Tyland's presence actually done for us at all?
I mean, if Tyland just, like, ripped off his buttons and wore a hood,
shaved his head, maybe
it'd be fine, right?
Yeah.
I like in this episode that Tyland does the brave thing to stay by Aegon. That's kind of fun. Like, he's kind of a comical character, but he does have some strength in him. So Aegon decides that he will face the Mooton army and die brave like a man.
Yeah.
I think this is the season of Too Little Too Late. Like, Daemon is belatedly realizing, maybe I should be a good dad. And, like, Aegon is belatedly realizing, maybe I should be a brave, worthy king.
People all around realizing, oh, what if I'd thought about things before I did them?
It's fun that Tyland is being brave. It looks like Sharako has found the courage inside Tyland, brought it out of him. There is a lion within.
That could be it, yeah.
While Larys is fundamentally self-serving and does not love Aegon enough to die with him.
I mean, his reasoning is pretty solid. Well, it's interesting that Larys tells Aegon, I will give you your glorious death by making sure that your story and songs are, happy and legendary. I think that there might be some sort of genuine emotional connection between them now.
Yeah, well, we saw a bit of that in season 2.
Yeah. I think that it is real. And I think that Aegon feels it as well, because at the end of the scene, when Larys rides off and Aegon and Tyland go on to face the army that will kill them, Aegon looks back and he's like searching for Larys as if in disbelief that the guy who's seen him through all of this is leaving.
So you reckon their partnership is not at an end?
I think that it wasn't as cynical as it could have been.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously was cynical, but I think that towards the end, at least, especially once Larys had started being honest with Aegon about how he really felt about him, Aegon respected that. Yeah. And it allowed them to actually develop some sort of honest relationship. Yeah, and now it's over because Larys has to go. I like how everyone's reasoning is solid. Yeah. Tyland says, well, it's honorable as well that Tyland says, I can't let Aegon face an army that's meant for me. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of riding the line between cynical and heartfelt, riding the line between foolish and honorable.
So he's chosen to die as a king. Better to die on your feet than die on your knees, I guess.
Aegon says to be buried as a king with my dragon. Like, I think Aegon's like, if my dragon is dead, then I'm dead too, and I want to be with my dragon. And that makes it so beautiful when the dragon comes back. And the dragon's all fucked up and half dead, just like Aegon is kind of fucked up and half dead.
I mean, we've been yapping on and on about how we want something magical to be going on with Sunfyre. I mean, kudos to you for predicting / hoping / loving the idea that Sunfyre will be mangled and like half dead, and like there'll be a please just let it die element to Sunfyre coming back. Are you upset that there was no Larys blood sacrifice resurrection of Sunfyre?
I think there are interesting ways that they could have tied magic into it, but I think the way they did it is acceptable. I will be unhappy if they don't give us any more explanation of the Gold Cloak murders and how they were pulled off, but I will not be upset if there's no further explanation of Sunfyre coming back. Because, dragons are mysterious and magical, like, their eggs can turn to stone but still come back. I'm okay believing that a dragon can appear dead but then come back.
And I think ultimately it comes down to Aegon's spirit being Sunfyre's spirit. And when Aegon decides to be brave and stand up and declare himself the king, now you see me as I am, that's Sunfyre's cue to be alive again.
Yeah, Aegon embraced the fire within himself, and that awoke the fire in Sunfyre.
Yeah, there's all this talk of people renouncing their dragons.
Yeah.
Aegon is embracing his dragon. Big fan of all the Tom Glencarniisms in this scene. The grunting he makes when he gets off his horse, and like the self-assured when he says, I'll die as a king.
No, he's a great actor. We see Sheepstealer flying in, and I love how Sheepstealer looks all kind of asymmetrical and awkward when he flies.
Yeah, Sheepstealer didn't go to like dancing school. Didn't grow up at court.
Not an elegant dragon.
So obviously this next scene has a massive dragon battle in it, but I like how it starts with Caraxes like kind of swooping Sheepstealer a little bit, like, hello, I'm here now, we have to deal with each other. It doesn't come off as like aggressive, but as like knock knock.
Yeah, like they keep saying, dragons are not precise instruments. And like here, Daemon and Rhaena are trying to have a very delicate, complicated conversation, but the presence of the dragons makes it impossible. Like if those 4 dragons weren't here, then I think the Daemon and Rhaena and Rhaenyra may have managed to have a constructive conversation. But because they had 4 giant lizards screaming at them, it turned into violence. And that's the nature of the weapons.
Rhaena says when Daemon first approaches, don't come near, he does not heed me. And like obviously she's talking about Sheepstealer, but also Daemon is not heeding Rhaena because he keeps coming and invokes Sheepstealer to attack.
So Rhaena says that, oh yeah, I intended to live in exile for the rest of my life, but after 1 week of that, I decided it sucks, actually.
Yeah, the berries, not as good as the ones in court.
Yeah. And I like that because it's like authentic to stuff that teenagers do.
Oh, totally.
I think, making some big declaration of changing the life as a rebellion and then going, yeah, okay, actually, I still want to live at home.
And just like every other teenager in the modern age, Rhaena has decided that instead of living out on the streets, she's going to chase a big lizard to prove herself as worthy of her parents and step-parents' attention.
I do really like Rhaena's costume, how she looks all like beat up and ragged, and she looks like she's been living on a lizard for a while.
And I think Phoebe Campbell's performance really sells the I am so absolutely desolate and isolated and desperate and will do anything just to feel something.
Yeah.
Daemon says, let me help you, and Rhaena like backs away like, what the fuck? Is this a faceless? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Who is this guy? This is the episode where Daemon says both please and sorry.
And let me help you.
Like, what?
Yeah, if you were watching this episode in isolation, if you hadn't watched this show before, if you skipped all the Daemon scenes prior to this one, you would have a completely incorrect image of the character in your head. I do love that Daemon finds commonality with Rhaena in that, I wasn't born with a dragon either.
Yeah.
I had to go out and fight, and it's all true. Caraxes was previously the dragon of Rhaenys' dad, Aemon.
Yeah.
And Daemon was older than an infant when he bonded with Caraxes.
Yeah, it's fun because Daemon usually projects the idea that I'm better than everyone, I'm stronger than everyone, I was never weak like you, but he was.
Here, he brings up I was once a poor defenseless child as well. My mother died and Viserys sank into sadness and I had to do something, so I claimed Caraxes. But unfortunately, it's all too little too late, as we keep saying. And also, there are some other dragons here to ruin the party.
I do love, as we said, I love how Daemon offers some fatherly love, offers to help, shows some vulnerability, and Rhaena's reaction is, who the fuck are you? She doesn't trust it.
Yeah, you are betraying me.
Yeah.
You betrayed me, I hate you. You have to abandon your dragon, Rhaena, to get away from it all. because if she rides sheepstealer, they'll just tear sheepstealer out of the sky. So you've got to run away on foot.
Yeah,
This is a very foot-based dragon confrontation.
right. Look, I think it's a great sequence, but I also think it's very silly that Daemon's like run away. Like, does Daemon really think that Rhaena's going to get away from the 4 dragons on foot?
It's characters acting in desperation again, right?
Yeah.
What other fucking choice does she have?
Well, I do think it's interesting later when Daemon's like, I was doing everything to keep Rhaena's secret from you, and Rhaenyra's like, who do you think I am? Like, do you think I'm going to kill your daughter?
And,
Really?
like, if you recall what Rhaenyra was like in season 3, episode 2, after Jace died, I could believe her trying to kill Rhaena after that.
Yeah, the dragon sounds are so good. They did such a great job with
Thanks.
the unique sounds of all the dragons.
Thanks, man. I tried really hard.
Oh, you did that. It's a little known fact, but Gladys actually did all the dragon sounds for HBO. It was all just like one session in the recording booth.
Yeah, I was in there for 3 hours.
The screeching, the flapping.
No direction.
Yeah. No, he just does that. He didn't actually know he was being recorded. HBO just put a microphone in Gladys's house. And
Fuckers did not pay me.
Yeah. And Addam goes and chases after Rhaena. I just wish that once in my life I could sprint through a grassy field wearing a big red cape. Like, why has that not happened in my life?
You can do that.
I need to get a cape.
You aren't using your free will enough.
It's true. What's that line from? Sometimes I think that I'm not using my free will to its fullest extent. What's that from?
I know that from the top comment on a Trey the Explainer video where he drives across the US because of an anime arc.
Oh, I think that's where I know that from.
Really?
Fantastic.
Yeah. It's a great video, everyone. You should check it out.
Yeah, Trey the Explainer. Steel Ball Run. Check it out.
It is fucking silly that Addam is running after... Like, just fly your dragon to the other side of where Rhaena is to stop her from... Like, you could get closer to Rhaena.
Yeah, I agree, but also, like, there's a non-zero chance that Sea Smoke accidentally steps on Rhaena flat.
That is true.
Like, I really like the way they portray, like, dragon logistics. Like, yeah, like, dragons can get around and they can break stuff, but they also can be more destructive than you intend. Yeah, I like how all the other dragons have like their musical screeches and songs, and then Sheepstealer just goes
like a goose,
honk,
like a car horn.
It's like trying to do karaoke with you. Glidus is hitting the high notes. I'm just like, yeah, no, I think it's a great scene. I mean, look, this is one of those episodes that when we watched it, we were like, what, banga bonga? Like, this is far from the books. Like, there is nothing even remotely like this scene in the books. Like some of the scenes added in the show are like, oh yeah, I guess that like could have theoretically happened. But this is like, whoa, wowza.
None of these words are in Fire and Blood.
So Rhaenyra discovers that Rhaena is the writer of Sheepstealer. I think it's really, really important if Rhaena said right now, hey, I didn't kill Jace.
It was pirate.
The pirates killed Jace. It feels contrived that everyone is just choosing to believe that Rhaena's responsible for the death of Jace when she really wasn't.
Not really.
Yeah.
I feel like Rhaenyra needs to accept that ultimately Jace was responsible for the death of Jace.
Yeah, and obviously that's really hard for her to accept emotionally, but I still think that...
she wants to pin it on someone. That's why she's been searching for Sheepstealer's writer. Like, she might actually understand that it was the pirates, but she wants to attribute it to someone whose skull she can look at. Well, that's the whole problem.
I do love seeing Rhaenyra snarling with Syrax snarling in the background. It's perfectly done.
Yeah, she's accepting her dragon. Like, Rhaenyra is a dragon when she screams to Rhaena, it is finished.
On the topic of Rhaenyra becoming a dragon, there's a shot later in this episode where it's framed as though there's fire coming out of her mouth, so that's fun.
Look at the misery on Phoebe Campbell's face.
Yeah.
Great performance by Phoebe Campbell.
Yeah, immediately falling to her knees, Rhaena does, when Rhaenyra says, like, is Rhaena expecting to be beheaded immediately? When Caraxes joins the fight, it's like, okay, kids, show's over.
Yeah,
like, Big Daddy Caraxes is fixing everything now.
Yeah, because the thing is, Syrax, as far as we know, has never been in a fight.
Yeah.
Sea Smoke went to war. Caraxes went to war.
Sheepstealer's been living rough for decades.
Sea Smoke's been taking on some ornery rams, but Syrax has done nothing as far as we've seen. I love seeing Rhaenyra's rage, like, with her dragon. Like, I've been complaining all season. When are we going to see Syrax do something? Here is Syrax doing something.
I like how Sheepstealer takes the time to scream at everyone individually.
They deserve to be screamed at individually. I mean, I think that Sheepstealer is, like, afraid and, like, asking for mercy. Like, Sheepstealer can't win this fight, and Sheepstealer knows it. That's why Sheepstealer runs away. Like, I feel so bad for Sheepstealer.
Yeah, didn't ask for any of this.
Sheepstealer is just, like, the weird, like, antisocial dragon who just wants to be left alone and eat sheep. But Sheepstealer keeps getting dragged into these terrible, awful fights.
Maybe it was nice that this princess came along and wanted to eat sheep with me, but I didn't expect any of this.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Sheepstealer.
It's very pointed that Daemon tells Addam and Seasmoke to fuck off and let me deal with this, because that's how Sheepstealer gets away in the end. Okay, so maybe Daemon doesn't want to spare Sheepstealer because he does say, kill him, Caraxes.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah, and then Daemon gets knocked off his saddle because he forgot to chain himself onto the saddle.
Whoopsie doopsie.
That's a rookie error.
Yeah.
Look at that neck.
It's such a neck. Look
at that neck.
He looks like such a penis.
Incredible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that it sounds like a fucking Pokemon cry.
Yeah, it does.
Poor Sheepstealer has to limp off into the distance, but he makes it out alive. It is really cute that Daemon's knocked off Caraxes, and instead of pursuing Sheepstealer like Daemon told Caraxes to, Caraxes is like, oh, I have to nuzzle you. I have to make sure my brother's okay.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetie.
Yeah, no, it's a wild, wacky scene, but I like it.
Me too.
Nice to get some dragon action in our dragon show.
Hell yeah. I'm sure a lot of people have been holding out for that.
Yeah, it's pretty rad. And unique. Like, we've never seen anything like that in this franchise.
Yeah, I think they are trying to give us new stuff all the time.
It's a complicated and unique beast, but I'm glad they're doing something ambitious and unashamedly weird and unique. And I think this episode in particular is one of the more hot messes in Hot D.
Yeah, man.
Like, this is like the good and the bad. Like, this is the we're so back and the it's so over. Like, this is like the ups and the downs.
Like,
and
simultaneously.
Yeah.
I'm quite bewildered that Sylvie says the Iron Throne is 100 little cocks vying for attention, and in response to that, Mysaria says the Queen won't be hearing petitions anymore. Like, is she saying that the petitioners are cocks as well vying for attention?
Yeah, maybe they just cut some dialogue from the script. I don't know.
Or maybe Mysaria just wants to get on with the point of the scene.
I think Mysaria has heard enough of Sylvie's penis analogies. Maybe this is all Sylvie talks about is penis analogies, and Myzaria's like, yeah, okay.
It's like Corlys and his sailing.
Mysaria is speaking very formally and speaking as though she were talking from a throne or being a politician. Like, before she was all like, I'm all sly, I'm the white worm, I know all about the goings on.
Now I am in the council, I'm in front of the throne of cocks.
Yes, she's the fancy lady at the throne of cocks.
Everything about Mysaria in this scene, and perhaps this entire character, is so performative, because she says to Sylvie, the Queen has turned her back on her people, and then she like performatively turns her face to Sylvie and says, I want to hear from you. I want to hear what the people are saying. Come to me with your troubles. And Sylvie calls her out on that shit.
Yeah.
She says, is this just a game to you? Are you just playing here?
Yeah.
Did you ask me to come here just to look at you doing this?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels very true that Mysaria has changed and become vain.
The show has no other character than Sylvie who can call Mysaria out like this.
Yeah.
No one else is Mysaria going to care about.
I love Sylvie's look at Mysaria, looking like, who the fuck is this person? Like, who is she? Like, this is not the Mysaria that I know.
It's like Kat looking at Hugh. You've changed. Who are you now?
Power.
You have power, and it's changed you.
Yeah, the thesis of this season is power changes you. You thrilled now to attune you once aboard.
You will do things that you previously thought yourself incapable of. This war will make beasts of us all. These characters are all saying the exact same thing.
Helaena said the same thing also.
Sylvie asking Mysaria what power she has in truth harkens back to Rhaenys asking Alicent what power she has in truth. Like, these women are still talking about the exact same issues. So Sylvie tells Mysaria, you're full of shit. What are you doing here in a silk worth $1 billion telling me you're actually caring about the downtrodden? Mysaria says, this was a mistake. I never should have asked you into my throne room. And Sylvie, do you think Mysaria actually believes that, or did she need someone to tell her this?
I think Mysaria has changed and is becoming vain and is
Yeah.
enjoying the feeling of power. But in Mysaria's defense, like she is attempting to represent Sylvie and represent the people. Like she is, I think, sincere when she says, "I will try to bring the people's concerns to Rhaenyra in like the most
Yes.
effective way that I can."
Becoming powerful is a pretty good way of gaining power,
Yeah,
of doing things. Yeah.
I think Mysaria is a bit vain, but is still sincere in her efforts. But I think that the really difficult question is like, can she still believe in Rhaenyra?
Yeah, well, Sylvie needs her to remain unchanged, but Mysaria needs to believe in her queen, which is her access to power.
Yeah.
And those two things are going to become at odds with one another. And the upshot is Sylvie tells Mysaria that, like, regardless of how much power you require here, you are still a whore. They're
Yeah.
always going to treat you like you don't belong here. And so Mysaria starts acting like a whore again. In the way
Yeah,
she
right.
talks to Rhaenyra. Like, she seduces Rhaenyra the way that she would have seduced Daemon 20
Yeah.
years ago. It's a very, very heterosexual lesbian sex scene.
So basically, Sylvie tells Mysaria that she's a champagne socialist. She's a fake liberal. She's been taken over into the bourgeoisie. The dragon pit. The dragon pit. There's dragon keepers. There's dragon keepers.
There's dragons being tended to by dragon keepers in the dragon pit while dragon riders walk away from the dragons.
So Rhaenyra immediately imprisons Rhaena and refuses to speak to Rhaena, which is obviously like super stupid.
But, it makes sense.
Yeah, because she blames Rhaena for Jace's death. It's so sad to see the dragons wounded, Seasmoke and
Yeah.
Cyrax. Like Rhaenyra's dragons are injuring each other when they should be united.
Well, the same thing is true of both teams, right? Team Black is doing this and Team Green is doing it. Team Green is fractured amongst its dragons and so is Team Black. Seasmoke like wiggles his little head like a wet dog coming in after a rain. Adorable.
So at Harrenhal, Alicent brings poisoned wine to Aemond. She walks in to the room while he is shirtless waving his sword around. And I think it has the energy of a parent walking in on their son masturbating.
Which, of course, Alicent did do.
Oh, yeah, true,
this
with
show.
Aegon in season 1.
Yeah.
Look, I think it's a great scene because these are two brilliant actors and they really like lean into the emotional horror of a parent trying to kill their own son because there's all this love there, there's tenderness there, but there's also the tension of Alicent's deception and the terror that Aemond might
Yeah.
realize what she's doing.
If Aemond or Alys acts on what Alicent is doing, she's so mega horrible dead.
Yes. There's multiple Valyrian blades on the table next to them. There's
Yes.
the cup of wine.
I like that shot where there's black fire, there's the cat's paw dagger, and then there's 2 cups of wine. Like, make you think poison is the woman's weapon, as Pycelle tells us in Game of Thrones.
True.
And, it has Alicent meditating on, like, the methods of death, like what's accessible to her as a woman, and what might be accessible to Aemond if he figures out that she's trying to kill him.
Yeah, and Alicent just saw Aemond suddenly brutally murder Adrian Redford with that blade. So like Alicent is dicing with death right here. And I love that, it is an insane, like crazy deception, like a performance to have to hide her true intentions. But of course, this is Alicent. She spent her entire life pretending. So like she is like the one person who could maybe pull this off.
But that's why Rhaenyra sent her, even though
Yeah.
it's bonkers.
I still think as a plot, it is bonkers, but I think as a scene between two awesome actors, it is great.
And 2 fun characters who like have so much between them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Rhaenyra did emphasize that Aemond trusts Alicent.
Yeah.
I think it could have gone further as to say literally no one else could even try to assassinate Aemond other than you, Alicent.
Yeah, Alicent
Yeah.
is the one person in the world who Aemond won't instantly murder at
Yes.
the slightest, like, inconvenience.
Yeah, because here, like, Alys, the person who Aemond is romantically entangled with, sort of question mark, what the fuck is going on there, says Alicent's here to like try to hurt you, and he says no, that's mum, never, can't be. She used to feed me mulled wine before going to bed. Foolish boy. So Aemond says, oh, but I tried to kill Aegon. Like, don't you hate me? Please hate me. Please
Yeah.
validate my self-hatred.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and Alicent's like, kill Aegon? Who hasn't tried to kill Aegon?
So yeah, look, I think it's I think it's a great scene. I think it's tense. I think it's sad. I think it's beautiful. I think that Ewan and Olivia are acting their pants off. I still think the plot is a bit absurd, but I think it's a good scene.
I'm there for it. Like, sure, fuck it, whatever. Alicent's in Harrenhal trying to kill Aemond. Whatever, man.
Yeah, man.
I was wrong about the skull, everyone. It was the writer's skull. I mean, it makes sense that it was the writer's skull all along, and I should have, like, stopped trying to cope that it was Viserys' skull, but it's the writer's skull, and, like, I'm a little annoyed.
So Daemon walks into the room and Rhaenyra insists that Alinda Massey stay in the room. And I feel like, it's like when someone has a confrontation with their partner who they're breaking up with. And she like keeps her friends in the room so that her friends can back her up, and knowing that if there weren't friends in the room they might just have messy breakup sex.
Yeah,
like this is like my friends give me strength to go through with this confrontation.
Alinda, stay here so I don't fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
And Alinda's thinking, oh, she still might.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all like speculating what Daemon is capable of. Daemon doesn't want to betray Rhaenyra, but he is.
Well, that's what's so brilliant about this like episode of Daemon and Rhaenyra's relationship is that the entire show has been about Daemon doing selfish, chaotic bullshit and pissing everyone off. And this time, Daemon did do some chaotic bullshit by lying about Rhaena, but for the first time ever, Daemon created trouble for good reasons, for compassionate reasons. Daemon was trying to protect his daughter, and Rhaenyra acknowledged that earlier, but of course she's still furious. So, like, it is a unique chapter in their relationship.
You're totally right about Alinda being like the wave breaker between Daemon and Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Because Daemon keeps looking at Alinda and like you can just see in his head, I wish she wasn't here so I could actually do what I want to do.
I really like this scene because, Daemon says, I was just trying to protect my daughter. I was just trying to help her. But he also says, like, I did what I thought was best. And there's the rub.
Yeah.
Because, like, what Daemon thought was best was excluding Rhaenyra.
Yes.
Lying to Rhaenyra, lying to his wife and his queen.
Is that not always what he has thought was best?
Yes, yeah. So like Daemon is trying to do the right thing, but like his version of doing the right thing is excluding his wife and queen Rhaenyra. And so after everything that's happened, Daemon still doesn't trust Rhaenyra. Like that's what Rhaenyra says. Like, who do you think I am? Like, do you think that I would kill Rhaena? Is that what you think?
Do you think I'd kill your daughter? What the fuck?
Yeah, and it kind of like is this self-fulfilling prophecy where if Daemon had trusted Rhaenyra and demonstrated that he believed that she wouldn't harm Rhaena, then maybe everything would be better. But because Daemon is like as paranoid and murderous as the best of them, he sort of projects that onto Rhaenyra, perhaps.
Daemon thinks that he's dealing with book Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
Is the thing.
Well,
but he's not.
Everyone's sort of like gaslighting Rhaenyra. Like since season 2 as well, everyone sort of acts as though, oh, Rhaenyra's a crazy woman and she's gonna kill everyone with her lizards. And Rhaenyra has consistently said, no, I am not going to kill everyone with my lizards. And everyone's like, oh, sounds like what you'd say if you were about to kill everyone with your lizards.
I'm scared you're about to kill me with your lizard.
She protests too much.
Meanwhile, she's just like, what the fuck? Can I just like get something for my period?
Despite this being the most humble, most moral, best version of Daemon that has existed in this story so far, he still is treating Rhaenyra like a child. Like, I mean, Rhaenyra is his niece. And like he fundamentally is like patronizing her and distrusting her. And his version of compassion does not involve honesty with Rhaenyra. And so it's like after everything, like they still are not a team. So how can they ever be a team? It's too late. It's too late.
When he swore to serve Rhaenyra in the season 2 finale, which was like this big deal, I've had a dragon dream about Daenerys Targaryen's ass in the desert. That felt like I'm going to do what you need me to do now. When in reality, what it was is I'm going to do what I want to do, but it'll be flavored in I'm doing it for you instead of doing it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Daemon just doesn't get it. Daemon just doesn't get it.
He might get it eventually.
But it's too late.
I think he might get it in terms of Rhaena, and it'll be too late for him in terms of Rhaenyra. Although it is of note that the person who's talking to Rhaena in the next scene isn't Daemon, it's Baela.
Yeah.
Like, why is Daemon not, like, at
Yeah.
Rhaena's side right now.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, Daemon's version of being a good husband to Rhaenyra is lying to her and disobeying her. And Daemon's idea of being a better father to Rhaena
It's lying to Rhaenyra.
does not involve talking to Rhaena. Yeah, it involves continuing to lie to Rhaenyra. And the person who is there for Rhaena is Baela. And so Baela gives a little pep talk to Rhaena about how she can begin again. And I find it so funny that, like, you know, previously Alyn said, could you give a pep talk to Corlys? And, like, Baela's like, I'm done giving pep talks to people. I have to do stuff for myself now. But next episode, she's like, oh, Rhaena, you know, I'll give you the support that you need. Like, that's all Baela does. All Baela does is she says, oh, Jace, like, it's okay, mate. We can do it together.
Okay.
Buck up, bucko. It's going to be all right. And she said the same thing to Corlys. And she was like, Corlys, you got to be the hand of the... And now she's
also-
like, Rhaena, you...
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is, that's my sister who really needs some help right now. And the flavor of this pep talk is you can begin anew. I think in the light of the last thing that Baela did, which is have sex with Alyn, I think that makes sense for Baela. I think that she's thinking about things in a different way now.
How
like,
so?
oh, we can start over. We can create new life.
Yeah.
We can be light in the dark.
Yeah, well,
We can begin
yeah.
anew.
Well, and of course, like, you know, Baela has also made a big mistake and lost Rhaenyra's favor by running off to the gullet.
Yeah, so like maybe we can band together and rebuild.
Yeah. Phoebe Campbell is great. this
Phoebe
season.
Campbell has crazy hair. Phoebe Campbell has crazy hair.
Phoebe Campbell's incredible, I think. Like, you see Phoebe Campbell's, you see Rhaena's just absolute, like, devastation and wildness and, like, the fire in her. Like, that's the thing. Like, Rhaena shows some fire.
Yeah, and like I suppose that is building up over the course of Rhaena's life. I mean, the show leaning on season 1 is its best foundation. Rhaena, we were introduced to her, upset that she doesn't have a dragon. That fire has been building quietly for 2 entire seasons.
Yeah.
Baela has just sort of been like, do, I'm Baela, do,
Yeah.
everything's fine.
Yeah.
Are they building to some eruption with Baela in the future? I feel like it's too late. I'm Team Rhaena.
Yeah, Rhaena has won me over, Baela hasn't. I think that Baela is meant to represent, like, some hope for the future. Like, Baela and Rhaena in the books. Like, Baela
Yeah,
and Rhaena in the
absolutely.
books do pretty much nothing for this entire story, but they represent hope for the future. And maybe that's where they will land with these characters in the show, but, like, the storylines are so different that it's hard to predict.
Maybe I'm just like a fiend for people being angry at each other, but you know, it's a drama story. I would be having so much more fun if Baela and Rhaena were upset at each other, if they were not trying to bury the hatchet, if they were not trying to rebuild a relationship.
Agreed, because, like, what Baela does with every character in every scene is that she's reassuring and she's conciliatory and she's trying to, like, bind up the wounds.
Like, if she's not pissed off at Rhaena, who the hell is she ever going to be pissed off at?
Yeah, for real.
Daemon? It should be Daemon, obviously.
Beautiful shots, though. I mean, the like direction and the cinematography is fucking grouse in this entire show, to be clear.
Absolutely. I do like that Baela's short with Rhaena. Enough. Stop, like, flagellating yourself.
Yeah, there is a bit of, like, stop, like, pitying yourself.
That's a bit of fire, I guess.
And I do like these candles in the background that are burning low.
We're running out of candles, people.
Well, yeah.
We don't have fucking candles.
Well, it's fun,
Stop.
yeah, because this
You
continues.
don't need 3 candles in this room, Rhaena.
We see Alyn out in King's Landing working with soldiers. He says that more Hightower loyalists have been found.
Alert the confessors. The confessors, okay.
So I really like this because it shows that Alyn is doing stuff.
Yes, it also shows that Rhaenyra is continuing the operation of, like Larys was the Lord Confessor, no?
Yeah.
And that title meant he was torturing people.
Yeah.
Is Rhaenyra torturing these Hightower loyalists?
Yeah. Yeah, well, apparently.
That'd be cool.
It'd
Awesome.
be nice to, like, unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
But I do like that they are at least showing that someone is trying to find the traitors and someone is trying to restore order in King's Landing. I do like, we need that.
But the real meat of this scene is the meat on Corlys Valarian's finger.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so
Whoopsie-doopsie.
Ormund cut off Corlys's finger with a kitchen knife and has sent it to Alyn. So I guess the point is that Alyn will want to go and rescue his father Corlys, and Rhaenyra will be like, but you're meant to be keeping order here, and that could create a rift with the Valarians and test Alyn's loyalties. And, we've just established that Alyn wants approval from Corlys. And importantly, Rhaenyra hasn't yet legitimized Alyn as Corlys's heir. So if Corlys dies without Alyn being legitimized, then who gets Driftmark? What is Alyn's future?
Ulf gets Driftmark.
Ulf gets Driftmark.
I mean, Ormund's plan there actually makes a whole lot of sense, strictly because Corlys does not have a legal heir.
And it goes without saying that this plot is not in the books, and it's very different.
That didn't go without saying. You had to say it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I'm glad you said it.
Good thing I said it.
Yeah. As Aemond hobbles into Alys's laboratory where she's playing with a barn owl, which is herself, you can hear a frog ribbiting.
Oh, I love it.
As Aemond hobbles in.
Yeah, no, I love it. Alys is iconic. Who among us does not wish to tinker about in a witchy laboratory with frogs and owls and their cleavage out?
Well, in the previous episode, Alys told Aemond to be as the winter frog and wait under the ice for the spring thaw. And Larys is a toad.
He's a toad. It's all amphibians. It's House of the Amphibians. So Aemond stumbles into the lab and collapses from the poison that his mother just gave him. And Alys, hilariously, is completely nonchalant and just says, "Oh, idiot.
I'm going to have to grind up a whole other potion for this."
Do you think Alys is saying Aemond is an idiot for drinking Alicent's poison, or is Alys saying that Alicent is an idiot for attempting to poison Aemond?
Or is Alys saying that Alys is an idiot for continually entangling herself in Targaryen bullshit?
Yeah.
I think everyone here is an idiot, and she knows it.
So then we see Alicent, terrifiedly stumbling out of Harrenhal.
It's so fucking funny.
I would love to know what her plan is at this point. Is she going to walk from Harrenhal to Old Town? What is the move here, girlie?
I mean, she knows that her family is at Tumbleton.
It's a pretty long walk.
It's a long walk.
She hasn't packed a bag.
And she doesn't have Adrian Redford anymore.
Do they
I think her plan is she just has to hang out in Harrenhal and hope she's not found.
She just got to hide in the King's Pyre Tower eating bats until someone comes and rescues
She's going to
her.
become old Shella Went.
Until Sabbatha Frey turns up. Yeah, look, it's funny because the scene was wonderful, but what was the plot outcome of Alicent's little jaunt in Harrenhal?
Now she's trapped in a haunted castle with a spooky witch who wants to kill her.
Well, I think she just walked out the front door, in fact. So she's not trapped in a castle
that wasn't
with the
the
witch.
front door. That was the side entrance of the Godswood.
I quite hope that Alicent gets kidnapped by green men.
Oh my god.
If we're going to go full bonkerballs, why not have Alicent flee to the Isle of Faces? Give me one reason why not.
Wow. Poor Aemond.
Yeah, does Aemond know that his mother just poisoned him?
I think he probably can't accept that in this scene. I think that he's in disbelief and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
So, I guess we assume that Alys is a powerful witch maester healer so she can fix Aemond.
Well, yeah. She saved his life before.
The thing that sometimes happens is that witches like Alys can resurrect people as opposed to heal them. Maegor and Tyanna and Miri and Drogo. Be fun if we just have undead Aemond. I mean, we've got undead Sunfyre this episode. Why not undead Aemond?
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, Dreamfire is cool.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you wish some of the chickens were making dragon noises?
Or just one of them breathes a little bit of fire. It goes bakak, and then sparks come out.
Bakakis! I just love Helena's innocence in this vision.
Yeah, no, her face is hilarious because the blood moon eclipse apocalypse moon cracking darkness that consumes the world is coming, and she's turning around going, little chilly today.
You know what it reminds me of? Everyone will think I'm insane for this, but you know the episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes into the third dimension and it's an early CG experiment and he's just all a little concerned and scared about what's going on when the world is being destroyed around him. That's Helaena here.
It's very CGI. They're not really attempting to make this look real.
It shouldn't look real, I think.
I mean, look at that snow. That looks like an Adobe plugin. It looks like an After Effects template snow falling.png, you know? It looks a bit tacky, honestly.
Well, remember the season 2 finale visions,
which was even worse.
The fucking raven coming out of Bloodraven's birthmark and then flapping across, taking us to another vision.
Yeah.
We loved that.
Yeah.
because of how tacky it was.
Yeah, well, it was like goofy retro visuals.
I get a similar feeling from this, and I like it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's not goofy is Dreamfire.
Oh, g'day.
I love the design of Dreamfire. Look at those horns.
She's very spiky.
Isn't that incredible? They've done a great job of making every dragon unique. I mean, of course, like we could gripe about this all day because like there were 2 previous sightings of Dreamfire, and it wasn't 100% confirmed to be Dreamfire, but we did see a dragon that like should have been Dreamfire based on like who was present, and like in official like HBO material and like socials videos, there is a dragon identified as Dreamfire, and it's the one that Aemond sees in season 1. Like official HBO materials have said that is Dreamfire, but it did not look like this dragon. So they have like only created this design for Dreamfire this season, it seems. So like it's kind like in an ideal world they would have established this design earlier, but I'm just happy we get to see Dreamfire.
Yeah, maybe Dreamfire grew these horns in the past 8 years.
It metamorphosed
Yeah.
from a cocoon.
So we come from Helena's dream of fire and dragons and the long night and chickens and Fabian Frankel stealing your baby to Rhaenyra in bed.
Is she having the same dream?
Well, I don't think Rhaenyra's sleeping.
Yeah.
I don't think Rhaenyra's slept all month, actually.
Yeah.
Would
no,
explain a
it's-
lot, actually.
Yeah, no, it's been a rough week. What's Helena's visions about?
She didn't tell me. So she's having a baby, and then the midwife hands the baby to a Kingsguard and he's doing the 1,000-yard stare. And I think that what that's about is if this child is born here, it will be like consigned to a life of servitude to systems beyond its control.
I think that it is also possible that this is a literal flashback of Jaehaerys's birth. Like, yes, Jaehaerys is a twin, but like one twin's got to come out first,
That's
right?
true.
So it might just be a vision of Jaehaerys's birth.
It could be.
But like either way, it's about Helena's babies being taken from her.
Yes.
And so it's about the horror of her circumstances and her baby's circumstances as a queen, as a pawn trapped in this system.
Like the one strong actual desire she said, other than like maybe it would be nice to keep chickens, is it's my child. I get to choose.
Yeah. But alas, she won't be able to choose. Even if she does get to birth this baby, she won't get to give it freedom or to raise it how she wishes.
You know what? We said earlier that, maybe Alicent didn't force an abortificent on Helaena because there's no abortion this episode. What if this is it?
Well, yeah, maybe Helaena will wake up next episode with a miscarriage.
Yeah. What if we're watching that right now?
Yeah. So we also see Helaena riding her dragon Dreamfire. Finally! Finally! I'm stoked.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You still want more though, don't you?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, of course.
And here she's burning a bunch of people running into what appears to be the dragon pit.
God, I love how you can see the Red Keep from the door to the dragon pit.
Yeah, it's a very cool creative shot. So yeah, it's extremely cool. And I think like this is a vision of like, this is what happens if Helaena agrees to ride her dragons.
Yeah.
She has to murder a bunch of people. And I think Helaena has said that she doesn't want to be a murderer. So these are all like visions of like bad outcomes. Like these are all bad future things.
Yeah, it's like this is what happens if the baby is born. This is what happens if I ride my dragon. This is what happens if I actually get away and get my chickens.
Yeah.
It's still the long night. It's still death. It's still I don't get to choose what happens to me. I think this is our first and strongest look into what it's like for these Targaryens, why they are so self-destructive.
Yeah. So this vision of like Helena's perfect idyllic future is hanging out with chickens and her children, Jaehaerys and Jaehaera.
And her cool white horse of death.
Yeah, the pale mare is there. So there's an eclipse that brings the long night and the White Walkers. Like this is the apocalypse that supposedly happened thousands of years ago and will come again. So like Helaena sees the apocalypse coming, and that continues a trend throughout the series and the books and the shows, which is that like every Targaryen dreamer seems to think that the apocalypse will happen soon in their lifetime, but it doesn't.
Well, maybe it was gonna, and then their actions actually do delay it. Maybe they're all just seeing visions of Daenerys and they think it's them.
So I love these visions, and I think it's about Helaena losing any hope that she may have had for the future, which is a grim portent.
Yeah. The editing of this show is so much fun. We cut from like the intense long night beginning in Helena's vision, the growing background noise. It's like static. It's like tinnitus. It's an overwhelming sensation to the silence of Rhaenyra being unable to sleep in her father's bed.
Yeah. Well, I think that part of the connection is that Rhaenyra's father Viserys told her the apocalypse is coming and you must prevent it. So, like, that is what is on Rhaenyra's mind. Like, we're looking at Rhaenyra's face from above right after the apocalypse shot. So the apocalypse is weighing down on Rhaenyra's mind and keeping her up.
The thing is, because Rhaenyra knows about that, she failed to ask helaena about that and instead fixated on the fucking war.
Yeah, if Rhaenyra wasn't like being so aggressive with helaena, maybe they could have talked about, hey, like what precisely is this apocalypse that is coming? And like what should we actually do about it? So Rhaenyra's in bed not sleeping, and she goes up to like get a dressing gown. Like I guess she's cold,
Or perhaps a blankie.
or a blankie. But she throws the skull of the goat herd into the fire, which, you know, her frustration with Daemon's lies and her lack of closure. But it's also like an image of fire right after the image of ice, which is fun.
Oh yeah.
Rhaenyra tells Mysaria that Daemon has been lying to protect Rhaena. And Mysaria says, see, Daemon's full of shit, you shouldn't trust him. And Rhaenyra says, well, you've been trying to turn me against Daemon for your own reasons. Rhaenyra says, stop pouring honey in my ear. Stop telling me what I want to hear.
The rest of the scene involves Mysaria pouring honey on Rhaenyra's ears, eyes, mouth, everywhere.
All over. Yeah, it's very funny. Like, Rhaenyra's like, oh, I really hate it when you reassure me and tell me I'm great.
How dare you try to cajole me and win me over and seduce me?
Yeah. Yeah, so Rhaenyra, like, knows what's happening on some level, but also can't help but need that reassurance and need that sex and need what Mysaria is giving. And you know, I get, like, you know, they play that sinister music, and I can't help but feel it's a little unfair to Mysaria, because, like, yes, Mysaria is being manipulative, kind of, but also, like, Rhaenyra is knowingly entering into this transactional or like you know, duplicitous intimacy that's happening, but also, like, you know, Mysaria is doing it for the good reason of trying to gain political influence in order to protect the common people who have been, like, suffering and oppressed by this family of inbred lizardy lunatics for 3 seasons now. So
Must
like,
be said, they're also just like getting their rocks off.
yeah,
Like, Rhaenyra has needed to have sex with someone for a long time, I think.
Yeah, I think, this is needed for Rhaenyra, I think. And of course, she's not going to be having sex with Daemon with all of the lies and bullshit that's happening with him. So it's interesting. It's layered.
Yeah, I really, really love that Mysaria seduces Rhaenyra as she would a man. Rhaenyra even asks of Mysaria, am I worthy? She asks the same question that Aegon asks of Alicent and of Tyland and of Larys. It's what Aemond asks of Alys and Alicent as well.
Yeah.
It's the exact same language. All you Targaryen boys want the same thing.
Yeah, it's almost like motherly or like parent-like, the way that Mysaria is saying that, oh, you're good girl, you've done well, you're going to be great. It's the same stuff, with the twist being that instead of it being a man who's seeking, like, motherly approval, it's Rhaenyra. And Rhaenyra, of course, has said that, like, I will be a man, I will be a king, I will reject femininity.
I am still waiting for her to call herself the king, like in a slip-up, maybe. Mysaria also calls Rhaenyra by her name, I think for the first time ever.
Ah, instead of, like, my queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she says my queen and then waits a moment and says Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra, like, responds to that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, Rhaenyra, like, it is exhausting to be treated as a political object.
When you're a
And,
person, actually.
yeah, she wants to be seen as a person. She wants to be seen as a human body. She wants to be. So yeah, it's so complicated because it, like, in one sense, it is very, like, authentic and true to just be bodies together, but it is also duplicitous and manipulative how Mysaria is reassuring her to gain influence. And like, as we said, like, I think that Mysaria is perhaps a surrogate for Alicent and Rhaenyra's attraction to Alicent. And also, like, I guess, you know, Rhaenyra may never have had sex with a woman before, right? So it might be a big deal for her to have sex with a woman for the first
she's
time.
going to try to get Mysaria pregnant, even though Mysaria told us that that's not possible.
Ugh.
But, you know, if anyone can do it, I think it's Rhaenyra. Also in this scene, Rhaenyra says, my father was not a dreamer, but his whole life was a dream.
Yeah.
100% on the second bit there. Viserys probably sort of thought he was a dreamer, right? He had visions and he lived his life by them.
Yeah, he was a dreamer, yeah.
But Rhaenyra doesn't know or think or agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, she's also correct that Viserys was, like, delusional.
Well, this is right after Rhaenyra says, I have been acting too much like Viserys and look where it's gotten me. So is this Rhaenyra admitting, I've been a bit delusional recently?
But then she immediately enters into the delusions that mysaria offers her.
Well, I think it's because mysaria, like, switches the code on her. Like,
Yeah.
instead of trying to seduce you as a politician or as a queen or as a woman, I'm going to treat you like, you know, once a whore, always a whore. I'm going to treat you like one of my old clients.
So in a sense, in this scene, Rhaenyra is rejecting being Viserys and is embracing being daemon.
But it's with mysaria, the person who wants her to be the least with daemon.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like mysaria accepting that to mold Rhaenyra has to be daemon because daemon is the sort of guy that mysaria can mold.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. What a twisted web. It's also just outrageously hot, it must be said.
I suppose that must be said, yes.
Like the shots of like Rhaenyra.
Actually, no, that one went without saying, but let's say it anyway. Yeah,
Yeah, like the shots of Rhaenyra like looking towards Mysaria's body with like her hips right next to Rhaenyra's face, and Rhaenyra cannot help but have her eyes magnetically drawn.
I mean, they're not
to
even
Mysaria.
acting. Emma Darcy's not acting in this scene.
Yeah,
They're just wearing a wig.
They didn't know the cameras were on.
Yeah.
But yeah, my goodness, great scene. I love this arc of Tyland like being a pretty cool guy, actually.
Yeah, he's standing by Aegon when he really doesn't have to. He's brave.
Yeah.
He's really brave, like to
Yeah.
the point of stupidity, like Dunk.
Unfortunately, Tyland is brave for the wrong side, but
Well-
there you go.
Is there a right side to be brave for at this point?
It's not Aegon's.
Okay, yeah.
I do love how Tyland wields this like piratey Sharako triarchy looking sword.
Yeah, you can tell like he picked that up off the shores of the gullet.
Yeah, so again, it kind of shows that Tyland's strength comes from his arc with the triarchy. Despite the fact that previously, like, Tyland was saying, oh, the triarchy, Essos, oh, you don't want to tangle with those guys. Oh, the monkeys alone.
Orgies.
Like Tyland, like, kind of sounded like he really just couldn't handle it, but here he is. Like, he's being strong, as the triarchy showed him.
He made it.
If he can handle a monkey, he can handle a mooton, as they say.
I do love that Aegon and Tyland both, like, sure, they are wrong. They're doing the wrong, but they're honorable. They're doing this for honor.
Well, again, it's the too little too late thing. Like, yeah, it's great that Aegon and Tyland are finding their honor and their bravery, but it would have been nice if they had that, you know, in season 1.
Well, it's just funny that their honor is expressed by standing up to Rhaenyra's army.
Yeah.
So the Mootons show up and demand that Tyland and Aegon, they don't know that that's who they are yet. They demand that they throw down their arms and swear fealty to Rhaenyra. And Aegon looks at Tyland and goes, oh fuck, I've gone too far now. It's like how Alicent looks at Aemon and is like, oh fuck, what have I done?
Yeah,
What have I gotten myself into?
The soldiers laugh at Aegon's defiance, and this is a classic example of extras laughing way too loudly at something that isn't that funny. This happens in like every TV show ever. Like crowd, like a whole room full of people laughing at something that was like worth a chuckle at best.
Is it not exactly what happened when Rhaenyra drew her sword?
Yeah.
In the throne room of King's Landing in season 3, episode 2. It's Aegon doing the exact same thing. He's drawing his sword saying, I am a strong king, fuck you, I'm going to kill you all, and being laughed at. Rhaenyra did the exact same thing.
Well, yeah, that is the wonderful thing, is that the leaders on both sides of this war are, in some ways, laughable.
They're emasculated.
Yeah. I mean, neither of them have penises.
Damn. It's true. And important, I think.
Yes, it is true and important that Rhaenyra and Aegon don't have penises.
It's true, real, cool, and smart.
How does this mutant soldier recognize Tyland Lannister?
Newspaper.
Okay.
So previously I've been all like, well, Tyland is wearing lions on his cardigan and he has blonde hair and but like there's no way that this guy can see all of that from here.
And like if you see a guy with lions on his chest, you'd assume, oh, I guess it's a Lannister soldier. Like when you stumble upon this random guy in the woods, you would not assume, oh, this is...
That must be the Master of Coin, Tyland Lannister.
Yeah.
That must be the heir to Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
And then it's all lovely and exciting when Aegon summons his courage. He stirs his spirit and gives an immaculate speech about how he's Aegon Targaryen. I love that he mentions he's the 6th king of the Andals, the Rhaenyra, and the First Men. It's just fun to me that it's important to him that he's the 6th one ever. And he says that I stand here before you in the light of the 7, which is really interesting because he actually stands before you in the shadow of a dragon. And earlier in this season, the High Septon, like there's been so much conflation of the 7 versus dragons. Like there's Ormund and there's Orwyle and there's the High Septon, and Rhaenyra talks about it as well.
And he talks about the stranger, the god of death, while this like undead dragon is coming up behind him, and while like, you know, Aegon himself is said to be dead. So like this is like, I mean, Larys was talking about your resurrection. Like we will resurrect Aegon, and we will like, you will rise up again and take the throne. And so the image of something that is dead coming back to life is wonderful.
Larys in the previous season said that Aegon has already written himself into legend by surviving Meleys's dragon flame. And like looking at Aegon's story on paper, it is legendary.
Oh yeah. Aegon the Dragon Cock.
Exactly.
Rider of the zombie dragon Sunfyre.
He came back from the dead and rides like an abomination mangled undead beast. And like he screams about his righteousness and gloriousness, his religiosity and his dragonosity, and he'll burn 1,000 men just to let you know he's still there.
He's got a lot of osities. Yeah, I think that Tom Glencarney's maniacal laughter while the zombie dragon breathes fire from behind him, I mean, I think it definitely qualifies as one of the coolest things I've seen.
Yeah, no, I'm up there with you.
I love the performance. I love how wild and nutty it is.
And I love that at the end of it, Sunfyre is laughing too.
I love the look of Sunfyre.
Yeah.
I love how Sunfire's all fucked up. And of course, we could talk all day about like the sort of lore of this. Obviously, like Aegon's courage and confidence is part of what summoned the dragon and woke the dragon.
I think that's the most important thing here.
Yeah, agreed.
I love the very quick shot we have of Tyland kneeling to dodge the dragon flame, because not only is he like preserving himself in the face of like hot fire, you will die in a hot fire.
It won't just be warm.
It'll be very hot, actually. Ooh, fire indeed hot. Yeah, he's not only doing that, but he's kneeling to his king.
Yeah.
He's showing subservience to the god Sunfyre, the undead dragon god Sunfyre, and Aegon.
Yeah.
Also, Aegon's cackling at the end here. I think that's what Aemond was hearing in his vision.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I loved this scene.
I loved it too. I think it's fantastic. Like, the back end of this episode is so loaded. It's fucking insane.
It also means, yeah, it is.
That this isn't the final scene, that this isn't the epic, awesome twist at the end of the episode, speaks to how bonkers bananas balls this season is.
It is. I mean, this episode in particular has like 10 insane, crazy moments.
Yeah.
I love that, like, you know, Sunfyre is now, you know, missing half his face in the same way that Aegon is missing half his face.
And it's
the
the
way
other
that
side.
Viserys is missing half his face.
They're missing the opposite side of their faces.
Yeah, it's odd.
Together, they have one complete face.
Yeah.
They complete each other. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, well, they both have, their burned parts facing each other.
I just love his joy at having Sunfyre back. Like, the light is back in Aegon's life. That's what this scene was. It was his raging against the dying of the light, and it worked. Like, he brought his dragon back to life and saved himself in doing so.
Ormund is the absolute king of projection.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny that he's constantly calling other people, savage and like manipulative
Those
and not
people.
to be trusted, and they're so emotional, you know, so
squeamish.
so squeamish,
overweening.
like no one is more squeamish or weaning than Ormund Hightower, you know? I mean, it's really funny because like this episode has Ormund having dinner with Corlys, and like Ormund is like sucking up to Corlys and saying, "Oh, we will be allies. You're so great." And Corlys immediately sees through it. Is like, "No, you're completely full of shit. Fuck off." Whereas Ulf like does not have
hook, line, and sinker.
Like Ulf does not have the insight to realize that. Ulf is like, "Oh, yes.
Yeah, you keep saying those nice things to me, mate. Yeah.
Rhaenyra is overweening.
Yeah,
isn't
no,
she?
you're right. She doesn't let me have drinks with the lads.
Nah, I do need me sustenance and cheer.
I mean, he
innit?
does, doesn't he?
Yes. Well, it is true. A lot of what Ormund is saying, kind of.
He
It's just
doesn't
that-
believe it.
Well, it's just that Ormund happens to be worse.
Yeah.
I-
You know,
I-
he's
I-
offering Ulf what he wants.
I love Tom Bennett's performance.
Yeah, man. It's so fucking funny having these guys together.
These are very fun characters to share a scene. It is very funny that Ormund offers Driftmark to Ulf right after the Triarchy burned the crap out of Driftmark and there's no castle there anymore.
They burnt the crap out of High... There are 2 castles on Island Driftmark.
Well,
High Tide and Driftmark.
Yes, but they've never established that in the show.
I suppose so.
And the reason why Corlys built High Tide is that the original castle Driftmark was leaky and uncomfortable and bad.
That is true in book lore, yes.
So there is no pleasant castle on Driftmark for Ulf to inhabit. So Ormund is giving him a bad deal to some extent.
Well, yeah, Ormund knows that, obviously. But Ulf hasn't thought about that, even though presumably he flew past the burning ruins of High Tide a few weeks ago.
True. True. Yeah, so much projection when Ormund is like, oh, they're going to stop laughing at you. They're going to respect you because you really are superior. Like all this notion of like, that's what Ormund was talking about with Darren. Like the High Towers are better and people will recognize that we are better. Why does no one appreciate that I'm better?
Ormund says, when they see you as you are, which is the same thing Aegon says, now that you see me as I am, with a dragon behind him. And like in the first season, Rhaenyra said to Alicent, now they see you as you are, when she's brandishing a dagger at her. It's all about like bearing truth, the destructive soul of these people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, who is Ulf? Because like it's so tragic. The last line of this episode is Ulf saying they will burn, and he kind of says it as though this is the first time that it has occurred to Ulf
that he's going to be killing a lot of people. Initially, when he says it, it seems like sad and meditative.
Yeah,
and then he turns to Ormund and gives the biggest, goofiest smile you've ever seen, and it's psychotic.
Yeah,
it's like this is scarier than Kristen Cole's 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Ulf's like cheer and goofiness has always been charming and fun.
Yeah.
But now it's like, oh, it's actually like terrifying now, and like Ormund has corrupted Ulf, and it's so interesting that it's framed as who you really are. Like, is this violence who Ulf really is? Like, I don't think it was, but maybe it is who he may become. I mean, the tragedy of all of this is that if Rhaenyra allowed Ulf to go to the pub and have a drink with his mates, I feel like his mates would be a tempering influence who might say,
oh no, Ulf, you don't need to burn 10 billion people.
Yeah.
You don't need to be Lord of Driftmark.
Clay and Muja, for their faults, I think would not advocate for murdering thousands. So it's so tragic that, you know, Ulf's arc could have gone in a very different direction. It is really fun how Ormund is like, oh, you know, those Targaryens are savage and evil. And it's like the reason why Ulf is here is that he is a Targaryen, or a Targaryen bastard at least.
Ormund is playing off Ulf's lack of, they don't accept him. They're not letting him into the club. Ormund will let you into his club. Well, he definitely won't, but he'll tell you he will. This was Dragon Time.
This was Dragon Time. Did you have fun, Glidus?
I did. I have plenty of fun talking with you about this episode. The episode itself, I love so much, and also it's dumb in some ways.
Yeah, look, I think that this episode was in many ways the dumbest episode of House of the Dragon, just in terms of like the harebraininess of like the Alicent plot and some of Aegon's wanderings, and like there's a goofiness to some of these plot lines. But I think that we also had some brilliant scenes, like, I don't know, Rhaenyra and mysaria and aemond and alicent, and like Aegon's explosive sunfyre moment, like, and the dragon fight. Holy shit, the dragon fight.
Fucking dragon fight.
Like, that is something I have not seen before.
I haven't even thought of that.
Yeah.
That didn't even exist in my head.
The episode is very funny.
Oh, yeah.
The episode is very sad.
I've said this a few times. I think it's the funniest episode.
Helena's visions are something that we have needed for a long time.
This episode made me happy, and it also made me go, okay. But it made me happy again.
Yeah.
It really is the blurst of times.
It is, yeah. It is the best and blurst of Hot Day, I think. I mean, I stagger to imagine what we're going to see in the finale next week. Like, my God. Like, there is a lot to come. Like, this was a lot, but it is setting up even more to happen next week.
I think it's going to be completely unlike the season 2 finale, which a lot of people complained about not enough things happening in.
Yeah, this is going to be like too much finale.
Yeah, it might have a bit too much final going on.
Yeah, people are going to be reeling, going like, too much happened. Let me breathe. Oh my God.
You can always breathe here on Dragon Time.
You can always breathe on Dragon Time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you if you're listening on Nebula as well.
Thank you if you're wearing the official Dragon Time pajamas.
Yep. And we'll see you next week.
Should really make those.
We should.
The thing is, we won't have time to make them until the season's over.
There's no time for any of this.
Any of this. Dragon Time.
Spoiler zone. All right, it's a spoiler zone. You understand what that means. It means that the things we're about to say will likely spoil you on future events of House of the Dragon based on the book that it's allegedly adapting, Fire and Blood. So if you don't want that, leave. It couldn't be simpler.
Helena's visions, I think that she's considering suicide, and that's what the Pale Horse represents. And when we see her on a dragon burning people, I think that's Helaena fighting in the storming of the dragon pit.
Yeah.
I think this is Helaena protecting the dragons from the commoners.
Yeah, so maybe if Helaena did make it to the storming of the dragon pit, she would have fought and killed many and protected the dragons.
Yeah. And yet that future still leads to the long night. We see the snow and the eclipse and the apocalypse happening. So I think this is Helaena knowing that if she fights and if she stays, the apocalypse happens and it's not a good outcome. And even if she tries to live in peace, she can't. So I think this is Helaena going, well, I can't get the future that I want.
There is no future for me.
So I think this is all set up for Helena's suicide, which might happen next episode.
Yes, I agree. I'd like to slip into the spoiler zone to talk about Tyland Lannister.
We're slipping into the spoiler zone.
You know how it is. There's talk of Rhaenyra would flay me if she captured me, and the Mooton soldier says if you surrender, if you tell us where the gold is, you might something about losing your ears. These are all references to what happens to Tyland later on in the book. Where Rhaenyra tortures, dismembers, disfigures Tyland, and he survives, goes on, becomes Hand of the King, and helps lead the country into a more stable future. So that's fun. I like that they're talking about that, but it does make me worry that that's it. That's their way of doing that.
Yeah, well, the big question is, will Rhaenyra brutally torture and mutilate Tyland in this show, which is what she does in the books? And I tend to think the answer is no. Because I think that what the show repeatedly does is it removes all of Rhaenyra's worst acts and makes other outside characters responsible for her problems.
Or simply removes those things from happening at all, like Laenor dying.
But I mean, one example is that in the books, Rhaenyra imprisons Corlys because Rhaenyra gets all paranoid and tries to arrest Addam for no good reason, and Corlys frees Addam. So Rhaenyra imprisons Corlys, and that alienates the Velaryons and is one of many factors that contributes to Rhaenyra's downfall. But in the TV show, it is Ormund who kidnaps Corlys, and that creates the alienation with the Velaryons. So I think what this show does over and over is that it takes away Rhaenyra's bad choices and instead makes other outside villains responsible. And so while in the books it's the story of Rhaenyra causing her own downfall tragically, the show seems to be about Rhaenyra's downfall happening through no fault of her own. I mean, she is making mistakes, but nowhere near to the extent of the books.
Rhaenyra in the show is making bad decisions, and we're seeing why she's making bad decisions. But yes, it is downplaying the severity of her bad decisions and the impact it has on the people around her. Whereas this show is giving more agency to other people, but also taking that away from Rhaenyra's own downfall. Yeah,
the books are a tragedy of Rhaenyra and Alicent and their families destroying themselves, whereas this is a story about the evil villain Ormund causing Rhaenyra's downfall.
Well, the book is also about the evil villain mysaria causing Rhaenyra's downfall by sowing paranoia in her.
Yeah, which there is a little bit of that happening in this episode, I suppose, but I just think that it's a shame that I think that they're to some extent taking away Rhaenyra's agency and taking away the tragedy and instead making evil villains like Ormund responsible. And that's it. I do love Ormund as a villain. Ormund is a great villain.
So I'm just wondering, is that it for Tyland? Is them mentioning those things the extent of their adaptation of that storyline?
Yeah, it might be. It might be
Because-
just a little sort of Easter egg for the book readers.
I thought the same thing about Adam seeing a green man.
Yeah.
Because in the book, it's alleged that Adam goes to the Isle of Faces somehow and communes with the green men somehow to get some knowledge from them. And in the show, he just like sees one dancing off over there, and that's pretty much it.
I hope that we will see more of Adam with the green man, because that is something that happens later in the books. So it could
True.
happen later here.
Do you think he's going to go back to the Isle of Faces before Tumbleton?
That's what happens in the books.
Look, I'm just trying to think about it from a television narrative structure point of view, where having this season finale as the first Battle of Tumbleton and then waiting 2 years, but like this show's entire fucking structure has been balked.
I don't know if it's fair to say that this season has been slow exactly, but like in
I
terms,
actually wouldn't say that, yeah.
but like it does mean that if all the deaths from Tumbleton happen next episode, that means that basically all the deaths from this entire season, except for Jace and Shariko, will happen all next episode, and it'll be insane. Like I think that
It's a battle.
if what you're saying is
episode.
true, next episode will be the most bonkers episode of House of the Dragon. Like the most deaths, the most like plot progress.
I don't
in
even
the
know if
entire
that's true.
show.
Do you remember how much plot happened in season 1, episode 6?
Then more characters will die at Tumbleton next episode than died in the entire Long Night episode of Game of Thrones season 8.
I don't think that says anything about House of the Dragon so much as it says everything about that episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I'm excited to find out.
Yeah, I hope that I'm wrong about
I
that.
suspect it will be bonkers one way or another.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I want it to be bonkers.
Do you think Darren will sacrifice himself poisoning Ulf?
No, I think a tent will fall on him.
In this episode, Alicent tries to poison her son, Aemond.
Oh, I remember that bit, yeah.
Sorry,
Gotcha.
In the books, Aegon gets poisoned, and we've speculated for a long time that Alicent might be the one who poisons Aegon in the show. But, like, won't it be repetitive and redundant if Alicent poisons both her son Aemond and her son Aegon
Well,
in the
I
show?
think the difference is that with Aegon, it's going to actually work. There is something to be said about, I mean, this show has retread the same plot beats many, many, many times.
Yeah.
But the successes in doing that is when, like, you can draw thematic meaning out of the subtle differences between that retreading. And the unsuccesses is when it's just literally the exact same thing, a la Corlys and Alyn.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just got a little worried that maybe Alicent won't poison Aegon.
I mean, literally in the previous episode, we think Alicent poisoned helaena.
True. So does Alicent poison all of her children except Darren in this show?
Well, she's going to have to get a wriggle on if she wants to poison Darren too.
Well, yeah, I guess Alicent didn't poison Helaena though, because we haven't seen her react.
I mean, she is having visions of like a traumatic birth. So maybe that'll come to pass in the next episode. But yeah, you'd think it would happen this episode if it actually happened. Maybe that was a red herring, and maybe Rhaenyra is going to poison Helaena to
jeez.
induce a birth. Or
Do you think
abortion.
that Helaena is going to die next episode along with Ulf and Hugh and Darren and Ormund and Addam?
Oh my god!
It's gonna be a big episode.
I feel like they are building to Helena's death this season.
I think they are. So one of George's complaints that he posted a couple of years ago was saying that in the books Helaena commits suicide because of the death of her son Maelor, and that causes the riots and the storming of the dragon pit because the people like Helaena. I think if Helaena dies next episode, it's not going to feel as connected to the storming of the dragon pit.
That is true, yeah.
George has loudly complained about House of the Dragon and has not loudly complained about Game of Thrones Season 8, which is insane to me because, in my opinion, Game of Thrones Season 8 is so bad and House of the Dragon is good to great.
I think it might be like George got to cut himself off from Game of Thrones earlier.
Yeah, I think George was like emotionally checked out from Game of Thrones in the later
Yeah.
seasons, whereas George was emotionally invested in like Hot Day Season 2 and 3.
Yeah, it really feels like his problem with House of the Dragon is that he feels personally betrayed by Ryan Condal.
Yeah,
That's, I think, what it comes down to.
yeah, I agree. But
Whereas with Benioff and Weiss, he probably was like, oh, okay, I guess I have no control over this.
a quote from George R. R. Martin in the book Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon. My little finger would never have turned Sansa over to Ramsay. Never. He's obsessed with her. It's going to be very different in the books. Quote from George R. R. Martin. It's an obscenity to go into somebody's mind. So Bran may be responsible for Hodor's simplicity. It rippled back through time. The explanation of Bran's powers, the question of time and causality, can we affect the past? These are issues I want to explore in the book. George Martin says that the hold the door scene, I think they executed it very well, but there are going to be differences in the book. It's so funny how George is consistently like, yeah, the Game of Thrones was pretty good, but my books are going to be better. The books that I haven't written.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
A quote from George R. R. Martin. I hear both extremes. There are people who say they hate the show and say, George, write your books and fix things. And there are people who love the show who say, I don't care about George's version anymore. It's a novelization. It's fan fiction. Who cares?
Who's ever said that?
When I finish my books, people can argue which is right, which is wrong, which is the real story. None are the real story. These are fictional characters. Which one resonates with you more?
Or making this shit up.
Like, George Martin is so diplomatic.
Yeah.
Which is so weird to me.
Yeah, like,
because
saying there is no real version, it's whatever resonates with you, like, that is a completely different guy to the guy who wrote the blog post about House of the Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you know what I think the difference is, if we're going to be totally honest. I think that when George said these things about Game of Thrones, George still believed that he was going to finish his book series.
Right.
George truly believed confidently that he was going to write The Winds of Winter and A Dream of Spring, and then he would be able to offer his alternative version. And then, of course he wouldn't care if Game of Thrones was imperfect, as long as he finishes his books, which he believes will be great. But now, in 2024, when he was making those angry complaints about House of the Dragon, I think at that time, George is no longer confident that he will finish his book series. The shows are all there are. So when the shows disappoint him, like House of the Dragon is deviating, then it breaks his heart. He no longer has the confidence of a man who thinks he's going to finish his series. I think that's what's happening.
The difference is that George previously thought he was going to be able to shape his own legacy with his books.
Yes.
And now he thinks that these shows that are being made by different people making stories that are not his are what's shaping his legacy.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's it. He thought he was going to be able to finish his books and define his own legacy, but now he realizes his legacy is in other people's hands. And how upsetting that must be.
Hey, I know we're already in the spoiler zone, but you really ought to know that we're about to talk about the Mad King. We're about to divulge some details from the Mad King play, which basically nobody has seen yet. If you want to remain unspoiled for that, go to the timecode currently on screen. Mad King spoilers 3, 2, 1.
Like, she might actually understand that it was the pirates,
Yeah.
but she wants to attribute it to someone whose skull she can look at.
Well,
that's the whole problem.
Well, it reminds me, and, forgive me, it reminds me of the Mad King play that we saw recently.
I thought it was going to be Dune or Halo 2.
Well, there are three things that I will reference every week.
Sometimes it's BoJack Horseman. Sometimes you have a dark horse in the race.
Yeah, no, that's true. Aha, got him. In the Mad King play, Robert Baratheon talks about how he doesn't have closure for the death of his parents because he never saw the bodies.
And he gets out into the ocean. Yeah, his parents died in the shipwreck.
Yeah.
And he goes out into the waves and slashes at them with his hammer or his sword. So slashing at the waves, what a wonderful metaphor for the futility of grief.
It's a wonderful play. And because Robert can't get closure for the death of his parents, he instead wants to kill Daenerys and Viserys, and he wants to see the bodies of Elia's children, Aegon and Rhaenys. So like, he wants bodies. He wants the corpses of his enemies because he can't get the corpses of his parents. He can't get closure. And I think that's similar to Rhaenyra. She's like, she can't get closure for the death of Jace, so she wants to blame someone else and she wants to kill them.
Yeah, she needs a symbol. She needs something to attribute all of that grief to. But he's upset with Ned that he never gets to see Lyanna's body and that Lyanna is like interred at the crypts of Winterfell instead of, he says in Game of Thrones she should be on some hill somewhere looking over a beautiful sunrise or something like that. And that, like, we didn't know that grief was made apparent there and then at Robert's Rebellion, but
of course it was.
And like tying it back with Robert's grief about his parents, awesome.
Yeah.
Really good play, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, good play.
Yeah, there are videos though. We did our pre-play chat, and then there's a post-play podcast that I did with Alt-Shift-X. Sorry,
with who?
Alt-Shift. I did
with who?
With Alt-Shift-X.
Unbelievable.
He doesn't let me make the dragon noises.
What's the point otherwise? It's dragon time.
Oh, sorry, do that again.
Fuck. It's not dragon time. Wait, so hang on. So Larys and Aegon and Tyland are traveling towards Mootonpool away from Rook's Rest.
It's called Maiden Pool, but we'll power on.
What did I say?
You said Mooton Pool.
Mootonpool.
Mushroom at the Mooton Pool.
Well, yeah, for real. I mean, they are like Aegon. They are Daemon. They are fuck. They are Rhaenyra and Daemon's kids. But that is still different to the Twilight Zone episode that I'm thinking of. That's gonna get cut.
Nah.
Nah. Keep it in. Keep it in.
Inflate the watch time.
It's the only podcast that's never been edited.
I fucking wish.